And we are live on the Centralist. Tonight you're joining me and Joe Montaldo. Joe will be joining us shortly. Well, man, we got a lot to talk about. That Biden speech, we're going to talk about that. And I'll tell you, I can't sit and listen to anything like that for any length of time without becoming really stressed out. And I try to keep stress. The reason why my hair is still brown and it's not gray because I try to keep stress at a basic minimum. And even though, yes, stressful things happen, terrible things happen, all that stuff, I try to just brush it off, let it go, put it off one side, over there, and not because if you let the stress get you, the stress is going to put its hands around your neck. It's going to choke you out dead. So that's why. that's that's why I like to kind of just chill and chill until the next episode. You have to be able to offload your stress. You have to be able to, no matter what, man, you got kids running around screaming all the time. Stress. I'll tell you, young kids, man, that's like a continual swing of a hammer 24 hours a day sometimes. You got to be able to offload. You can't get mad and yell and scream. I was a yeller for a time, and then I realized there was no point in yelling anymore. That I was just making myself mad, So I mean, but I grew up around yellers, old yellers, that type of thing. That's what you learn. Shut up. Go to your room. But turns out their room is cooler than the rest of the house, so they didn't mind. When we were young, when I was young, they told us to go to the room. The room sucked. Maybe if you were lucky. I was lucky. I had a little tiny black and white TV with an antenna on that. I hold the antenna just right. I get my cartoons on there. 4 channels. 4 channels. Kids today, they have no idea what having 4 channels is really like. You don't want the 4 channels, right? The kids today, they got 400 channels, so they don't know our pain. Do they, Joe? We started the show and we're talking about they don't know our pain and stress. And then when you were told to go to your room when you were young, your room sucked. You know what I mean? Like now these kids' rooms are like, these beautiful places. They got all kinds of electronics and fun stuff. They're staying there. They stay there voluntarily. So, but Joe Montaldo is with us. Here we go, man. We got a in the
Live from
studio.
Atlanta. Yeah, live from
Oh,
downtown
you
Atlanta.
can hear the music downtown. The
No, not in
music.
this part of town, buddy. That ain't the kind of noise it makes down here.
You don't hear the gunfire in Atlanta, Hot Atlanta.
No, man, not in this part of Atlanta. You got to go to a different part of Atlanta for that.
How's the
They don't
weather,
allow
man?
that kind of noise around here. You
How's the
can't
weather
be
in Atlanta?
disturbing the rich people, man. You can't be disturbing the rich people.
Is it
They
hot
don't
down
like to
there?
be disturbed.
Is it
It's
like hot?
always hot down here.
Hot.
I drove into about 6 hours from my house in Mississippi, and it was a weird drive. First, we started out as like 4 different wrecks. Luckily, we just went right through it. It was kind of quick. It was strange. Seen another 3 wrecks going into Atlanta. All the traffic was headed east. It just tells me everybody is hauling ass for the holiday. And when I started headed north, all the traffic was headed south, which tells me people from Atlanta were headed down to the coast. Which I don't blame them because right now it's Labor Day weekend, so everybody's got a long weekend. Plus, Dragon Con, which is what I'm up in Atlanta for, is Dragon Con. It's going on, so Atlanteans are just leaving and going wherever. They're going to whatever southern city. They want my sister name. I heard she was headed up to Tennessee somewhere, so I hope she's enjoying herself. It's kind of strange, though. People are traveling. People are out in big numbers. Even with high gas prices, people are out in big numbers. They don't seem to care what Uncle Joe has to say. They want to get out and party down. Uncle Joe told us don't go out and spend no money. Remember that? I was like, what? You got to be the first president in history of the United States to ever say don't go spend any money.
Because they want to be able to destroy the economy completely. I mean, that was Obama's plan, wasn't it? And now Joe's
Yes.
carrying it on. And that thing last night with the red lights and what these guys are all about their imagery. And they know the people who designed that, the people who put that together knew exactly what the image they wanted to sell. And to me, it left me kind of sick to my stomach, and I wasn't very happy about anything. He didn't address anything that's really going on, any serious issues. The only thing he did was threaten and intimidate, like literally threaten 74 million Americans, these MAGA Republicans, and I'm a Republican, but I'm middle of the road, and I'm just a Republican because I'm too lazy to sign the thing over to be an independent. Actually wanted to be able to vote in the primaries, and see now in Vermont, place like that, if you're an independent, you can vote in either primary. In New York, whatever party you're part of is the primary you have to vote in, which is restrictable. So anyway, it wasn't a good message. It sounds like Civil War talk to me. It sounds like prelude to that type of an attack. And
Well, I'm already seeing.
He
I'm already
described
seeing
the
articles.
MAGA Republicans, angry extremists, and whatever. All the stuff he described about them was actually true about the liberal extremists. Liberal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but
liberal left.
Because a liberal won't think about 4 years of Obama raping, pillaging, and destroying, 2 years of Trump raping, pillaging, storage, BLM all over the place, Antifa all over the place. I mean, at this point, if you're a liberal, you have to be ashamed of yourself. They need to blame Trump so they don't have to think about what they've done in the last 6 or 8 years. I mean, they're disgusting. The Liberal Party has become the party of disgust. I mean, come on, guys. If you're a liberal, you've got to be wondering why Bill Maher has turned on you. I mean, he was like the champion of liberalism. Now he's like, I'm not voting liberals this year. And I guarantee you this speech is going to make it even worse. You got Jeff Bezos, another big liberal. Oh, you know what? He just gave the liberal the bird. You got Elon Musk also just gave the liberals the bird. Guys,
let's talk about CNN. CNN kicked Biden right in the groin. And now the Democrats are having a meltdown after all these hosts on CNN, question Biden's use of the military, his attacks, and all on the Republicans. So this is CNN. This is the liberal.
But in all fairness, CNN is changing. I've heard a lot of new stuff about CNN's getting rid of a lot of their conservative hosts. They're going to bring in a lot of their liberal hosts. They're going to bring in some conservatives. The report I actually saw that came from their office, the one for the stockholders, is they wanted to become the real Fox, true, fair, and balanced. They wanted to have left and right and some independence, and they wanted everybody to kind of disagree but still agree. And they want to show that there can be bipartisanship. That's what CNN wants. Now, if CNN can pull that off, they will become the premier news network again. But I don't know, man. They seem to have issues with hiring real talent. I mean, with so many podcasts and so many radio shows out there, you wouldn't think it would be hard to find someone who actually did their research, actually knew what the hell they were talking about, and actually knew what the freaking politics was about. But I mean, listen to Don Lemon. He don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. I imagine.
They're replacing people left and right, but he needs to go.
Well, there's a rumor he's on a chopping block, but I haven't seen anything substantial. And I seen Rachel Maddow the other day ranting and raving about Trump, something again about Trump. I was like,
I don't think CNBC's looking. They're not looking to change, but CNN's trying to get back to center, and it's going to be hard for them after all the damage they've done to themselves.
ABC and CBS said they want to go back to a more national type news. They're getting too many complaints about they're not really they're just one-sided. So even they're catching flack for being too one-sided.
Their complaints are coming from their advertisers because nobody.
Some of their citizens
that's really what it's all about is the money.
Yeah, but it is that. But a lot of other people are just regular people complaining because it's not just about the news. Anytime a station like that goes that liberal, their programming kind of goes that way. Well, liberal television doesn't make money, or Fox wouldn't be 5 times bigger than any network in the country. It shows you that what makes money is what Fox is doing and not what NBC and CBS and ABC. Think about it. The 3 networks combined don't make what Fox does. They don't have the reach that they do. And, Fox, and we're not talking about Fox's news. We're just talking about their just regular television.
You still had people on Fox that defied Trump, that didn't like him. They weren't Trumpy people, but CNN, you don't have that. CNN was all against Trump. There was nobody saying anything positive. When there was Obama was in there, they were kissing his ass. They wouldn't say anything, not even Fast and Furious or all the other scandals that happened. When they say Obama was scandal free, I laughed my ass off. I'm like, when was he scandal free?
Man, was scandal after scandal after scandal.
But for Biden to say that the MAGA Republicans are a threat to our democracy, that's war talk.
Think of it. Okay, let's stop from there. So Trump had 83 million votes, and they figure at least 17 or 18 million people might have voted for him didn't. So he's got a strong following, about 100 million Americans. Now let's think about what 100 million Americans this is. These are gun-toting, pissed-off people. Biden, I don't think he knows what he's doing. And I've already seen 4 articles tonight, people calling for, let's get in the streets. Let's do like BLM do. Let's show them what it is to destroy a city. Man, you do not want mega people getting out like BLM, because it'll be hell. And even the National Guard's not going to stop them. Oh, and by the way, the National Guard in the South said if this happens, they would not intervene. Even
I'm not a MAGA Republican, but I feel threatened because I don't support the Democrats. Everything that he described is what the Democrats are doing, and the reason why there's a crisis is because of them. And he's got the nerve to whip people at the whipping post and threaten them. You have your AR-15s and I have an F-14. What is he saying? Doesn't the F-14 belong to us too? Isn't it? Like we are all of us together. But he clearly has a me versus you, us versus them mentality, and I don't feel good about the whole thing.
And so, and that's another thing. So you need a real host, somebody in the middle, stand up and say, "Look, Mr. Biden, you do know there's 100 million Americans that follow Trump. What are you doing? What are you trying to start a civil war in our country? Because the liberals will lose it if it goes conservative versus liberals. Liberals are done; they'll lose. First off, you're not even most of the military is not even going to back you up. You know that, right, liberals? That the military is not really liberal. You might get some liberal generals in there and stuff, but the majority of people who fight and die for the country are not liberals. Never have been, never will be. That says a lot about liberals. They're kind of cowardly. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can go right now and find out what the actual role is.
A liberal attack you when they can hit you, throw a rock, shoot you, and get away with it. And they're what's going on in the cities of these crime waves. Like for Biden to go up there and not mention anything, nothing, no crisis that's facing people. Only go after MAGA Republicans and basically join us or die. That's really how I felt what his message was, especially the imagery with the red in the background. He was so angry. I was listening to a speech by a dictator. And by a fascist, and not by somebody who was supposed to be president.
But he is a dictator. That's who he thinks he is. He thinks he's a dictator. He doesn't. I mean, come on, look. You can just tell just by his executive orders he thinks he's a dictator.
It's not even him though. It's the powers behind it. That's the scary part of what they represent. The people who control him basically, and the rest of them. That's the scary part. They're the ones who are a true threat to democracy.
Yeah, and they are the true threat to democracy. You can look at them and see them. All you have to look at and see what happened for those 6 years under Obama, those 5 years under Obama, and those 2 under Trump. They're a threat. And they believe in using civil unrest. They used it quite well and all throughout the BLM movement. And you didn't hear any politicians. It wasn't about the BLM for them. It was just about wreaking havoc to try to get their way. Oh, get rid of the police, defund the police. And you notice. Even the media is scared to call out, like Nancy and Schumer and all them on defund the police. Every liberal existence called for defund the police, and now they're like, no. Even though they still really want to defund the police, they just can't say it because crime is so. And it's amazing to me. Crime is only bad in blue cities. Liberals, this should tell you something else. Crime is not bad in non-liberal cities. A friend of mine the other day said, "Well, you're wrong, Joe. Crime in New Orleans is out of control." I said, "It's a liberal city, dude. You didn't know that? Is it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a liberal city." I said, all the liberal cities are violent. Yep. They're disgusting, nasty, and violent, and they're dirty.
Needles, drugs, people pooping in the street, peeing in the street. You know what I mean? Like whatever, having sex in the street. What's going on it's crazy. It's crazy what's happening. That we're allowing all this to go on.
But we're not allowing it. This is only liberal people allowing this. Yeah. This is their cities, and they're allowing this. And it amazes me that the people in San Francisco were bitching about the girl with the hair shop, but they were okay with walking through feces down the street and having people pay to watch people get in and out of toilets. I was like, what? What kind of screwed up society is this? And now all of a sudden they're trying to change it around. But no, this is on you. New York is on you, liberals. Conservatives didn't make New York, you did. Conservatives didn't make LA, you did. Yes, New Orleans did. Conservatives didn't make New Orleans, you did.
Got Mayor Adams in New York.
In the country. Almost 78% of all violence in this country happens in liberal cities. That's appalling. The rest of us should just be offended and want to evict you out of our country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting.
Well,
And
you
you
got
want to
these
go
illegal
call other
aliens.
people and shit.
It's funny. They said 1,500 bust them to New York, right? This is what Texas has done. But also, let's keep in mind that 5,000 had been sent there by Biden. When they flew them in into airports and they bust them out from there. So now they're saying, well, they had 6,500. They can't handle them as too many people in a city of 8 million, by the way. Saying they can't handle them. They're putting them in these hotels and all that. And it's funny because they're just condemning. They're saying it's Texas, but it was Biden who loaded them with 5,000, and then Texas just sent 1,500, and those people seem a lot of them left because they said he's too
Now,
dangerous.
Texas
They
is
don't,
still
they don't want to stay
sending.
there.
So, yeah, well, Texas is still piling on. They're not going to quit.
They're going down to D.C. A lot of Spanish people are settling in D.C.
And the DC's been complaining. DC's been complaining for 6 months if they need a National Guard, but Biden's not going to let the National Guard in DC. It'll show too big sign of a weakness. And now he made all his speech. He gave the Republicans all kind of ammo. This dude has declared war on the country.
That's what it sounded like to me.
I mean, especially reading. I've been reading while we were talking. I mean, he's declared war on the country. Military or not, dude, you better watch out because not all the military going to fight for you, dude. You better get your shit together.
Look, a president with the lowest approval rating in history has declared war on this country, and he wants to go after the MAGA people, which happen to be a lot of people in industry, a lot of captains of industry, CEOs, people like that too, and also hardworking Americans. Let's just say he attacked the infrastructure of this country because it's the MAGA people actually work for a living. They're the ones who run the power companies. They're the ones who build things. Or construction workers. They're the ones who actually have something, to live for because they want to support their families with the hard work that they do and be compensated for it. The liberals that scream, the ones that are out there, most of them don't even have jobs. They're yelling and screaming. They're either on welfare, they're being supported by their parents or whatever. They're not realistic at all. Those are the people. So they don't create anything. They don't make anything. They don't do anything. And who are they letting go? Oh, people, you can commit a crime in New York and you're black. Doesn't matter even if it's murder, they're going to let you go because of no bail. Be walking on the street, shoot a police officer and walk on the street. This is the stuff. Where do they think it's going to end? And if you say anything about it, you're called a racist. But where do they think it's going to end, Joe?
Pig. You pig, man. I know where it's going to end, but we can't say it on here. Hey, Marty, how you doing? I see you popped in. One of my friends popped in. It's we're in trouble. This can't stay like this. And if Trump starts calling for all the mega people to go on strike, I mean, you're talking about airline mechanics, truck mechanics, everybody who makes this country roll, including beef cut, everybody who makes this country move will stop. The country will come to a screaming halt, and there's not an effing thing the liberals can do about it because they ain't got no control over these people.
You've got the FBI.
They don't even have to use violence. Do you realize this, people? The mega people don't even have to use violence.
You got the FBI. You got the FBI, who was the most trusted organization, and now their most distrusted organization, not trusted. Getting in the way because of Hunter Biden and his laptop and threatening social media, saying that it was Russian information, it was fake. And the thing is, they knew it was real. The FBI knew it was real. So they got in the way of that's obstruction of justice, obstruction of evidence, and they got one guy. Oh, it was him. Yeah, I'm sure it was just one guy in the whole FBI that did that. Come on, man. I mean, we need to sort things out and hold people accountable.
But see, Americans should be scared of this, okay? Because of what happened just now. So they go get it. So they can't find no evidence on January 6th to convict Trump. So they need something to change this. So Gerard gets out there and says, okay, what can we do? So the FBI team that investigated Trump under Mueller, remember this, the one that got in all the trouble for all the leaks and all the hate, is the same team doing this. The judge who allowed for the affidavit to get the warrant is a judge that went on television and said how much he hated Trump and how he should be removed from office. Right off the bat, this should already be thrown out. This shouldn't even be going on. So Gerard didn't have any evidence, and now we found out that the FBI is reviewing documents above their pay grade. They're looking at secrets they're not supposed to be looking at.
And they went to Mar-a-Lago and didn't find anything, and now they're backpedaling on that, saying, well, they must have had things somewhere else. And
yeah, you hear that? Oh, he's got it hidden. Oh, they're obstructing justice. He's got it hidden. You know why? because everything he had was declassified by him. So there's nothing they can do about this. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, there's been no leaks. And this is close to political thing. If they had something hard on Trump, it would have already been leaked. Somebody at CNN, NBC would have already got it.
Oh, yeah.
And you can bet your ass, according to the FBI, this will be their second trip over this evidence. Uh-oh. You should have already had arrest. Now they're saying, oh, well, there won't be no indictment until after the midterm, suggesting there will be. Now, what happens if there isn't? Then that's another ploy to try to change the outcome of an election. That's illegal. Why? I mean, the head of the FBI should already be in jail, and the guy from DOJ should be in jail. I mean, both of these are criminal offenses. They're using their office because most everybody agrees that if you were going to do this, you should have waited till after November to do this.
They've weaponized our justice system
against
only certain people.
And it's sad because hate on the FBI sucks because 90% of people work for FBI are good, hardworking, trusting people. You can trust them with your life. Really, it's the truth, people. Probably 95% you can trust with your life. But unfortunately, that's not the people that run the FBI. The people who run it cannot be trusted. We learned that with Comey and ever since. And everybody's like, oh, he's so good. Then why did he step down and disappear? He was worried he was going to get prosecuted.
The people at the top are politicians. Dr. Fauci, top of the CDC.
Oh, I hear he's in all kind of trouble, huh?
Politician, right? He was in there for years. Politician. Oh, we weren't ready for COVID. We weren't ready for these things we should have been ready for. Politician, because they don't remember when Katrina happened, and then George Bush appointed the guy to the head of FEMA. Didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was just some politician walking around, was a political appointee. He had no control of the situation. He knew nothing what he was doing. So I mean, when you get these people, I mean, look at Biden's whole cabinet. Not one of them is qualified for the job that they're in. So how do we expect things to run well? When Trump had a cabinet, people knew what the hell they were doing. He had qualified people in those cabinet positions. Things ran well. People were happy. The only people who weren't happy were the ones who wanted to take the power away from him. They didn't want the non-establishment guy in there. They wanted their establishment so they can continue with this. You know what they're doing is against our American way of life. And when Biden said that the Republicans are a threat to democracy, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Just the actions alone from these Democrats show you that they are the ones who are threatening your life, liberty, and your pursuit of happiness. Period. End of sentence.
Well, so we got the FBI sending stuff to Facebook and Twitter telling them about Hunter. Then we find out that the White House is sending stuff to the media, telling them not to right out of my head. What was it? Oh, not to talk about Fauci. They were sending it to CNN and ABC and CBS and telling them not to talk about
mention
Fauci.
COVID. Mention COVID, the vaccine, we get kicked off of everything, even YouTube. You can't mention it. You can't say a word about it before being flagged. You still same for Facebook. I'm a vaccine ambassador. If anybody knows anything about the vaccines, it's me. I got certificates and all that. I'm not allowed to talk about it. They will flag me, saying you're putting out disinformation. It's not. It's what it is. It's not disinformation. You can make up things. You can make up all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to tell you the information, what is available. And that's what it is. I don't know. It's a mess, man. It's a mess from one end to the other. I feel this. I feel that there's major cataclysms coming for this world. I think that there's also man-made. There's man-made coming. It's already started. I feel it in my gut. The dominoes are falling. It's already started. And people are going to have to make a choice on what they support, and if they support themselves and their families and their towns where they live, and they want things to be good, and they want to feel safe, they want to breathe fresh air and clean water and all that, we got to get together on these things and not let these other people who are lazy, shiftless, people who are self-hating, self-loathing, these extremists, bitch ass mo's. We can't let them take over what we value. We can't do it.
So to make that short, Mike's calling y'all a bunch of bitches. But anyway, look, you can't allow people to think about this. And this is something that always bothers me about the liberals. Every time the liberals do this to the GOP, later on the GOP does it back to them. It's like when they changed the rules of the Senate. And then all of a sudden, the Republicans had the Senate for the next 6 years. They used it against them. The other set of rules they changed, they use against them. And they're going to use it against them this time.
He called for one party. He
did. He doesn't want democracy. The liberals never wanted democracy. They want They don't want to be a communist. They want to be a socialist country, which they're ignorant because they don't understand what socialism is.
Right.
But you'll have a very few rich people at the top, and everybody else will be poor. You think the Soviet Union was bad? Shit, you let the liberals get complete control. But that's the other problem. It's hard because in this country it would be hard to try to force a takeover because too much of the military and too many people would just take sides, and it wouldn't be North and South, and that would be the really dangerous part because you wouldn't know who was where. Because different people, you had people in New York side with one side. Because don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, New York vote, it's 46% red in the last election. So it was a lot closer for Trump than most people wanted to talk about. So you'd have all those people up there. They would basically be spies and haters and blowing up crap. And we don't want to go there. We've had a revolution in our country. We don't need another one. We just need to add a third party so we can get the liberals and conservatives under control is what we need to do. We really just need to add a third party, a good, strong third party.
Here it is, Speed Man. After the Civil War, the Democratic Party in the South was the party of white supremacy. Now, African Americans form the party's most loyal base of support. Think about that. They Jim Crow laws, KKK, all these things. Oh no, we're different now. No, they're not. People don't change. Their ideas don't change. Is what they are, right?
Yeah, well, they're not going to. They're not going to. The Democrats started out; they were anti-black, and then they did the Jim Crow, which you're right, and then they formed the KKK, and they're still there. And when Trump put them on the spot and asked them, "What have you done? What have you done for black people?" No black people or no Republican Democrats could come up with an answer. They were just like it was like tone deaf. They were all like, "Oh well." Something like he said in the last 30 years, he actually put the question for the last 30 years. Can you tell me what you've done for? And it was a big fat nothing.
Why do you think that all these areas, these ghettos, these slums, are all Democratic controlled? And then the Democrats, they play the game. It's the Republicans who are keeping the money from you. The Republicans don't want you to live and be happy and have freedom. But it's the opposite. So they tell them a lie. They get them hooked on it, and then they vote for them. I mean, they just dupe people, right?
Yeah, I don't. I just sometimes wonder what the hell it's. It just gets disgusting. It just keeps getting worse. It doesn't seem, and then we got Russia now making threats all over the place.
I've heard speeches from Hitler and Mussolini, people like that were parallel to what Biden was saying, in the same energy, the same anger, the same hate. He wasn't trying to unify. He basically said, all you MAGA people are done for. Join us or die. That's really what I heard. Join us to be destroyed. That's kind of, and I didn't watch the speech live because I can't stomach Biden. I have to handle it in like little bits and clippets, but the effect it had on people, and I was live last night from 8 to 9 anyway. I don't even know when he was on, but the effect it had on people after I was off and off the radio and I was looking at what was going on, people were comparing him to like the Dark Lord, whatever in Star Wars, and all these terrible, including Hitler and whatever. I was like, wow, what was in that speech? And when I saw the bits and pieces in this and him coming out with his wife, it was very bizarre, very weird, very off-putting, very negative. I didn't like any part of it, and I didn't. As an American, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with what this president was saying and doing. I thought that he was being divisive and angry. He was worse than Trump on January 6th. Trump didn't make the threats. Trump wasn't intimidating like what Biden was. So that, and who is he talking to? He's threatening MAGA Republicans, and then he's talking to his base, right? Yeah. But it's funny how even NPR, one of the biggest liberal rags on the planet, came out saying that he was negative and divisive, and how dare he talk like this and act like this. So man, so he backpedaled a little bit today, I guess. He's not going to kill everybody.
The problem for Joe is there's not one handler, and you can tell. So it's like his wife sometimes telling him what to do, and she has no idea what she's doing. And then there's some of these young whippersnappers over there that think they know what they're doing, and they don't. You have somebody else, but you can obviously tell it's not one person because he just comes out and they come out with different ideas that never work. It's just garbage.
You know who it is? It's George Soros, people like that. The money people, they're the handlers. They're the
No,
ones who
they're
feed these
not.
people.
I guarantee you, Soros is not. These are people. See, what
Soros is the
happens?
one who funded Bragg, the DA in New
Yeah, but
York
Trump
City.
showed
This is
us
where all the
inside the White
criminals
House
go.
like nobody else did. Trump showed us how the White House actually works. So Soros and them don't have. They might have influence on some of the people who get jobs there, but he don't have a direct influence.
I'm
It's
talking
all the
about
people underneath.
the people
All
who
their
advise
information comes
Biden,
from the people
the
underneath.
people who make the moves, who design this, who advise Biden. It's not him. These aren't his ideas. He has no ideas. He just does what he's told to do. I mean, that's really what it is. He's just a spokesman. But the ones who are behind him, you don't know who those people are. You don't see them because they're too powerful.
No,
They're the
that's the
ones
point.
pushing
They're
the
not.
buttons.
That's the point, Mike. That's not how it's working. It hasn't worked there for a while now. What's been
This
going
is
on is, and you
Dude,
can see this
this
in
is
Trump
globalization.
clearly.
This is a push to make us weak and go for globalization and join us into a system where we're not going to have our say and our rights. This
That's
has
never
been
going
the
to happen
mission.
anyway.
This has
Even the
been the
Europeans
mission.
aren't going to go for that. I mean, even
That's
Europeans
oh
aren't going
yeah,
for it.
Europeans definitely aren't going to go for it. They're
No,
already up in arms.
nobody's going for this. But what's been going on?
But the
Trump
same
showed this.
shit's happening in the UK. You got the same Democrat mentality, the same people. Look
Yeah,
at
well,
Boris
you're gonna
Johnson, how
see
they
this
went
go back
after
and
him.
forth for a while. But I'm telling you, Trump showed us how the White House really works. So you can see the different layers and who was giving. Because Trump used to get his ass in trouble because this one, that one, or the other was telling him this, that, or the other thing. And now we see how it works. So there are select groups of people that they assign inside the White House who actually go out and say, okay, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, and they all come back and then they tell him what they think. And what the difference between Trump and Biden is, Trump did what he wanted. Biden just takes the suggestions and go, and the suggestions are garbage. You can see him. I mean, this speech. Whoever thought the speech was going to be good was ignorant. All that did was mobilize Trump's people.
Yep.
I mean, the point is,
Unless that's what they want to do. Unless that's what they want to do.
I don't know why, because that's going to
too.
mobilize independents and everybody else. That could be a big loss for them in this election.
Right now, I fear for Trump's life, and I fear for the future of our country. And I know in my bones what's going to happen.
Dangerous.
And it's horrible. It's horrible because you don't have enough people to put a stop to it. You have two sides coming to a tipping point. And they've been stoked. They've been stoked and stoked.
Denouncing political violence is not political.
Oh, it's all political. See, there's Jean Perret. The press is already on her about this was garbage speech.
Yeah.
They're already on. I was watching. I had to turn it down. I was watching the.
I know. How could they say it's not political? That's just the dumbest thing.
Well, this chick just lies. I mean, she doesn't even try to even act like she's not lying. It says, "I know you guys have addressed this at a certain extent." And then it goes on, and she's talking about, how none of this is good, but because you're citizens and questions, she's like, you can see it in her face. She don't want to answer this. She knows she's got to lie this whole way. Look, she don't even want to go here with this. And then, people are bitching about the Marines being there and all. I don't know how he's going to come out of this looking good. See, this is just one of them. He thought they were doing it, and whoever thought this up just kicked yourselves in the asshole. I don't know why the liberals get such bad advice, and it's not just Biden. It's Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. I mean, I asked somebody today, I said, what is Chuck Schumer doing? I said, other than hating Trump. I said, what is Nancy doing but other than hating Trump? I said, I've never seen him do anything. And I said, as far as this bill they passed, I said, $5 billion of that, $500 billion is going to their friends in the green industry that they did under Obama, and everybody went bankrupt, which is going to happen again this time.
That's what's happening now. Look at who's getting all the money. I mean, there's people getting millions upon millions, tens of millions of this Build Back Better, right? Colleges getting Build Back Better. Binghamton University just got $25 million. What are they going to do with it? Build Back Better for Binghamton University, really? Like they're going to do anything that's going to fix anything or make anything better, more green? They're not. They're going to squander the money like the rest of them do.
Wait, what? Who disagreed with Putin and got thrown out of a 6-story hospital room? Mike, are you over there causing trouble again? Hey, look, I've seen Putin fairly warn the U.S. today. He said, don't send long-range weapons to Ukraine. We're going to consider it a direct intervention, and we may use nukes against the Ukraine. So he's telling the United States, don't do it. And if we keep doing it, we're giving him a reason to nuke them. And I don't even know how the world's going to react to that. Well, what are you going to do? Nuke him back? The man got 6,000 nukes. Well, he got 5,000. We don't even know how many of them are going to fly, but he's got enough to really screw the planet up. So we don't even have to worry about it, what Joe Biden's doing. Putin might do it for us. And Joe's the one over there making these bad decisions about, just like he did with Afghanistan. He's over there making bad decisions about the Ukraine.
I got news for you, man. There's going to be, when I say cataclysms, I mean cataclysms for every country. You know, they're going to have economical killers happening when it comes to, all right, I'm just going to say this. The polar ice caps, since they're melting, is putting all of this water vapor into the atmosphere. This atmosphere has all gone down to the southern hemisphere, which is cooling the whole southern hemisphere now. So it's going to change. It's going to change drastically. The floods, the dryness in certain places, dryness and fires. We're on the third cycle of La Nina in California, in the whole Southwest. That's never happened before, you know? So there are things that are happening that these governments are going to have to respond to, that they're not going to have the money to rebuild. They're not going to have the money to stop it. And it's going to be the people with their losses. So all the politics is going to figure in too, you know? And the people that we're going to have to rely on, us Americans here, and anybody else where the hell you guys are, is each other, you know, your neighbor, the people who have to be strong. And that's really, these politicians don't work for a living. They don't know what it's like to break a sweat. They don't know what it's like to build something. They don't know what it's like to start a business. You know, Trump was a businessman. Joe Biden gives people the business. You know, he just uses political power to make money. I really refer to them as the Biden crime family, like the Clinton crime family. These people have taken a bigger chunk out of mankind than the mafia or the mob, any mob ever could. Not any gang ever could. These people have legitimized their illegal business practices, so they have a license to steal. And it's been the dream of the robber baron. That was the dream. And these people have, that's their roots. That's where they come from, is the robber barons. So they want you to have nothing. They want your money to be devalued. They want you to be on the string for everything from them. They don't want you to be independent. They don't want you to be successful. They want you to suffer. And when they throw you a bone, you're appreciative of it. And for your suffering, they're going to blame the other person. And then a lot of these people misdirect all of their attention to the other person. So, yeah. Yeah. How's that? How's that for a rant?
That's a good one, though, man. And it's just, I don't know, we're in deep trouble right now.
Yeah, we are.
It's
worse yet, they just dug up a 17th century vampire. Did you see that one?
No. I just remember what Marty was talking about, though, the billionaire. I remember, he disagreed with Putin. He did get tossed.
Well,
he was one of Putin's friends, too. That was one of his friends, and he just you can't say anything about Putin. You know, we can.
I like Putin. He's a good guy. I
love you, Putin. Yes, we love you long time, man. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We love you long time. Give us a yacht. We're happy about
That's
it.
That's right. Yes. So, give us one of your billionaires that you just threw off a balcony somewhere.
Joe and I are neutral like Switzerland. So it's okay. All right. So check this out. The remains of a female vampire have been uncovered by archaeologists at a 17th century graveyard in Pien, Poland. So professors, blah, 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 Polinsky, and a team of researchers from Copernicus University were using the dig as they discovered conducting the dig as they discovered the skeletal remains of the woman who had been pinned to the ground with a sickle across her throat.
Ouch.
The popular farming tool was commonly used by superstitious Poles in the late 1600s to try to restrain a deceased person, though the person was already dead. Though they thought to be a vampire or a zombie, thought to be a vampire. I should have the picture over here. They shouldn't have vampire teeth or anything. And then they're unable to return from the dead when they do this. The sickle was not laid flat, but placed across her neck in a way that she tried to get up and cut her head off. So, what do you think about that, Joe?
I just think that's just weird. It just sounds just freaking weird is what it sounds like.
I don't know.
What the hell? Oh, wow. Somebody must have the coffee timer to go
Creepy.
off. It's over there making. I thought the room was haunted. I looked over, I heard coffee percolating. Mike's over here talking about dinosaurs and coffee starts percolating. I don't know, man. Things
See
are
that? Dinosaurs. You vampires.
no. Well, because you were saying that, and listen, so you were saying that. I'm talking about thinking. I look down as I'm talking. This woman claims security camera caught small dinosaur running through backyard. So that's what came
Florida.
out.
That's old. Was that
Look,
the old
people,
one or is that a new one? That
it
was the
just
old
says today. It doesn't give me a. Let me see if I can get a date on the article. Hold on.
because there was one that claimed that a couple of years ago in Florida. She saw this thing.
No,
It looked like a dinosaur.
the
Streaking through her
article's
yard.
from today, and it shows her dog tree. No, this happening like within the last day or so. So I don't know. That's weird.
See,
It's weird. Let's see. Now, what's interesting to me on a somber note and a nice note, James Webb Telescope. It's finding habitable planets. It's finding planets they think might already be inhabited. Now, I'm not saying that we're living there, ET's living there, anybody else, but it is a good chance that these planets, because they look like water planets and inside the inhabitable zones, may have life.
they got single women there.
Now, I don't know, but one of them, or actually two of them, I think, are in Proxima Centauri. People, Proxima is only 3.8 light years. People, uh, it's one of them things when you talk about, oh, it'll take us 50 years to get there. Well, maybe, especially if we build stepping stones, but eventually we'll be getting there in 3 years. Light speed, you get there in 3 years, and half of light speed will get us there in 6 years. So, I mean, if you build a colony on the moon and then put a launching pad out in Zone 11, put a base on Mars, put a couple of facilities out in the asteroid belts, one or two little bases on Europa and Io and around, Jupiter and Saturn's moons, and put one out there in Charon or Pluto, and then one out in the Oort cloud, and then one
Uranus.
halfway to Uranus, and then halfway to Proxima, you put another one. These are stepping stones. So you don't have to be on the ship the whole time. You don't have to have all the provisions and all the fuel the whole time because you can be picking up as you're going. So it makes it much more feasible, and it'll take you 8 years to get there, but you'll be not on the ship. Well, it'll probably take you about 6 years to get there, but still, you won't be on the ship all the time, and you'll be moving along, and you'll get breaks, and you'll get new stuff, and you'll get there eventually, and then you'll be at Proxima. And wherever these two planets are, you'll be right there. You can go land on them, start living on them. Or unless there's dinosaurs there or something nasty, but I'm just saying. We're to that point now where we might as well admit it. We know there's life in the universe other than us. The government's trying to admit it, but it's hard to save face.
You don't have to admit it. There's bacteria. If there's bacteria is life.
Yes.
I mean,
but
so
they're
there
talking
is life.
about life like us, or not
If
like
there's
us, but intelligent life.
in the Tao De Ching, the very highest in heaven is like water. Water gives life to the 10,000 things, right? So that's all of us and everything. So if there's water in the place, you're gonna have life. There's bacteria, there's water. I mean, that's just a given. In this whole big ass universe, and parallel universes and whatever, to say that we're the only life is like one of the most ignorant things. That's like saying the world is flat, and Shaquille O'Neal just came out saying that he thinks the world is flat, and these guys are not scholars. They don't even think they have common intelligence. Really, honestly, I hate to say that, but I don't hate to say it because I've heard a lot from LeBron James and all these dudes, these basketball players. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna say the world is flat. It's best just not to say it.
Look, okay, I don't even want to be mean to people. We've had people on the network that says the world is flat, and when they say that, I just look at them like, have you ever been on an airplane?
He thinks people are being deceived by the government and NASA that the world is round, that the world is actually flat. You know where it comes from? It comes from Muslims. It actually comes from the Quran, because they said that Muhammad had said, he didn't say the world was flat. He said it wasn't round. So he was more talking about it was like an egg shape, but he never said it was flat. But they had taken what he said about that it's flat and that's that, and so there's a lot of ignorance out there. Don't blame Muhammad because I mean Muhammad was the one who apparently the Archangel Gabriel came and took him into space. Showed him other civilizations, future civilizations. He showed him civilizations on the Earth and the future civilizations on the Earth. So he had visited numerous times by angels to take him out and show these things. So that's where that was coming from. But I'll tell you, no matter what Bible you read, evil's evil. And what I heard last night in Biden's speech was that's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's what these people. That's what these people represent. And I'm not saying that because I'm some card carrying Republican or whatever. I'm saying that because I'm a concerned person about the future. Really.
I was raised in a Republican family, and after a while, when I got out of the military, I kind of went and became a Democrat because I kind of got a little peace, love, and light in me. But then I realized Democrats were just as bad or worse than the Republicans were. So I went independent, but independents seem to be wussies and don't want to do anything but just flip-flop their asses around. So I became a centralist because at least centralists stand up for what they believe, and they believe what's best for the nation because the majority of the country is in the middle. And I just don't understand why it's such a big fight. Why the two small parties have so much control. Somebody said, well, they're not really small. I said, no, actually they are. I said, liberals make up about 22% of Americans. Republicans about the same or a little less. I said, so that leaves 58 non-party people. We have the control. We just don't use it. We just follow along. They grab us right now. Okay, we're going. It's pathetic is what it is. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. You're just anytime you have to pass a bill in a partisan way, you're doing harm to the nation because half the country is not going to agree with the bill. But somehow Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan and even Daddy Bush managed to get bipartisan legislation passed. Now, for some reason, poor Obama never had a shot. He just didn't understand what it was to be a politician. Baby Bush, I mean, he owned the House and the Senate with like 80%, so he had it made. And he had approval ratings I couldn't believe Baby Bush had approval ratings in the 86% range. I was like, Jesus. Because of Desert Storm or whatever.
9/11, because 9/11, I mean, so that was the facade, and people wanted to have support for each other, so they supported him, even though they didn't read between the lines. If they read between the lines, and looked at the Patriot Act, things like that, if they looked into it, they would have seen the debauchery involved.
Oh, Serena Williams' legendary tennis career likely over.
Yeah, she won.
She lost. Yeah, she lost. But Serena had a great career.
No, she won. She won.
Huh?
She won.
No, it says she runs out at the end. At the very end, she lost.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she lost. She ran out of energy. They said she was out. Yeah, I mean, the woman's been playing fabulous. Her and sister
she's old ass out there, man.
She is old, but I mean, her and her sister are just fabulous. I mean, you can't hate on them.
Playing these girls who are 16, 17, they got all this energy and stuff.
Yeah,
I watch these movies, these action movies. These guys are like flipping through the air and jumping and doing all this stuff, man. I'm tired just from watching that stuff. If you need me to save the world, it ain't happening.
Here's the Vietnam traitor. She was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Uh-oh.
That's Jane Fonda, in case you don't know who I'm talking about. I don't care anybody says I will never like Jane Fonda. Even after she made what was that stupid
Barbarella, man.
Barbarella, that was it.
The first 2 minutes of that movie is worth watching, man.
Barbarella.
The rest of it, no. First 2 minutes, worth watching. And you realize what a beautiful woman she was.
She was a beautiful woman, yeah.
The Vietnam thing wasn't because she's just a dipshit. It's because she hated her father. And that was the worst thing that she could do to him, to hurt him, because he was all like Republican and all about being pro-military and the whole bit. You know what I mean? Henry Fonda. And then that movie On Golden Pond, that was the first time they had gotten back together after all those years, And then you get Peter Fonda, and he was a mixed bag because he was like, biker dude, born to be wild and all that. Then he turned into like a real anti-Trumper, I don't know. So now he's dead. He's dead now, isn't he? Passed away. Didn't Peter Fonda die?
No, I was just reading about Russia cutting off the Nord Stream.
Every time I think someone's dead, they're not dead. And then when I think they are dead, like they're not dead, they are dead. So they say, have you heard so-and-so died? I'm like, I thought they died a long time ago.
So here's another one of Trump's predictions. came true. Russia cuts off gas exports to Europe via Nord Stream indefinitely. Well, we knew
Oh
that was
yeah,
coming. Trump been telling them that was
of
coming.
course.
They were like, "Look, get a grip, people. This
He,
is He
he
said, "Look,
told
you can't
Germany,
buy well because you can't buy stuff from our enemies. They're just sooner or
right?
later going to use it against you." And Trump
Absolutely.
knew this. And I remember when Angela Merkel and what's his name, Egan from France, were saying, "Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. He's an ass. He's retarded. He's stupid. All this blah 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 blah." And it turns out that he was right, and they were all wrong. So that's what Angela said. When she's retired, but she came out and said, "I may have misjudged Trump." I mean, that was
Oh yeah.
major. That was major when she
After,
came out and said that.
right? Isn't that funny?
And she did. But now, I mean, so she's a big enough woman to come out and admit it, but yet the politicians here aren't. Because everything that's going on in our country, he predicted, he said everything that was going to happen once the liberals took over. And it's exactly what happened. And they can't blame anybody but themselves because they took over a great economy, running in good shape. Even with the COVID, they could have done this right. It wouldn't have been this disaster we're in today. Uh,
I see Netflix is going to have advertisements now and all that on their service. Of course, they've lost so much money. They've dipped down. That's how you make money. When they lose it, you invest it, and it bounces back. But Netflix took on Obamas. They took on people that had no talent, no ability to draw the audience.
But I was misinformed about the Obamas in the beginning, so I thought it was going to be something different. But when it turned out to be, he was going to be like the guy from Omaha, the insurance company, when they used to do their little journeys out into the woods. I was fine with that. I mean, he's not a bad reader. He speaks pretty well, and I mean, I'm not going to really believe half what he says anyway. But still, if he wants to talk about animals in a while, I'm fine with he's president, National Geographic president. He was trying to rebuild his reputation, is what he was doing, but that did nothing for him. And it did nothing for Netflix because it was boring.
Yeah.
Obama people, and don't take this the wrong way, but he's boring without being president. He was boring when he was president. But I mean, now he's not president. I mean, and it's hard for presidents because they can only go so far. See, Trump would love to go into Biden, but he can't because that could really be misconstrued. And even Obama could, when Trump was president, Obama had to really watch what he was saying. You can criticize him, but only to a point. After a point, it becomes an insurrection, and then you got an issue on your hands. So everybody, it's just like unsaid rules. I'm sure they're actually not unsaid rules. It's probably actually rules, but it's unsaid to us. They have rules that they don't attack each other. Even when they're in opposite parties, they just don't. And
if you're a Democrat, you can be the biggest scum on the planet. You could be the worst. You could be a Hunter Biden. You could be the worst possible person. Crackhead, hookers, all that. You can hurt people. You can kill people. But if you believe in their agenda, they give you a pass. You could be a pedophile pimp and have people patron that pedophile pimp. And we have a very real example of that. And they give people a pass. They give them a pass. So that's the Hollywood machine. That's this country and the people that the Democrats hold, that they're big donors. These are evil goddamn people, man. It's the only way I can say it. It really is the only way you can say it. Who rapes a kid? You know what I mean? Who beats little old ladies in the head waiting for the bus and kills them? And then another letting them go. You have the same group letting them go. Oh, you're free to go. There's no bail. It's okay.
So, man, I'm confused here. So CNN, Serena Williams is their lead story. They're not even got the president on here.
No.
He's not. Where's he at?
Because you get all
I
the
just
Democrats.
realized that while we were talking, he's not. All right, let's go to U.S. I'm on CNN. Maybe if I just hit U.S., that's where he'll be.
The Democrats are busting them, man. Busting balls.
See, this is another one of these things that it's backfired in their faces. They thought it was going to go one way, and then that's like the guy yesterday was saying, because won another bet on, a couple of weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? Somebody made me a bet on air, $1,000 that now that his numbers are coming up, he's going to get to 46. He's going to keep rising. He'll be back. He'll be back under 40 within a week. Oh no, Joe, you wrong. I said, how much money you want to put on it? And I said, look, this is. I said, I'm telling you, dude, you don't want to bet money that you're going to lose. Oh no, I know what I'm talking about. I said, fine, I'll take your money. And sure enough, not even 8 days late, he's at 38. I think today he's at 36.
Yeah.
So, liberals, y'all keep wanting to blow smoke up everybody's ass. You're going to win big in November. That's not going to work. And this speech today, I think, is actually going to hurt you in November, not help you. I think you're going to see turnout for the Republicans that you ain't never seen before. I mean, this is just dumb. This was like when the Supreme Court legalized, when made abortions illegal. That was dumb. Well, it's the same kind of dumb. This is the kind of stuff that turns people on. What was that, Jackie? Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I went by too fast. I'll have to send it back around. LSD saved the world. Yeah. Mike said he likes LSD. You've seen all the new articles. LSD is good for your brain, man. I can't believe that crap.
They're prescribing magic mushrooms to people for depression, that type of thing. So, what the hell, man? You know, I'd rather see people on natural treatments than, the Pfizer-controlled or biotech or any of these big companies who push pharmaceuticals on you.
There's just a lot of garbage out there. Let's just be honest about it. And they like to get you on as many drugs as they can. My doctor hates them. I'm like, Doc, what I got to do to get off this drug? What I got to do to get off this drug? Because I don't
drugs,
like
vaccines, you name it. So how long do you think, Joe, Ben Affleck and J-Lo, how long do you think they're going to stay married?
I think they're going to get married, stay married. No, they're going to marry and stay forever, man. They was in love before.
I'll give him 6 months. I see Ben Affleck's face. I see his face. I see the pain and anguish. She's in the glitz and glamour. She's a hot property. She needs to shop everything and put everything out there. He wants low key. That's not low key. It's just not going to work. Going back to an old ex is like putting on an old pair of boots, or it's like getting a car back that's been driven by a bunch of other guys and it's got more miles on it. Maybe they fix it up, put some new paint on that sucker, but I'll tell you, he doesn't want that lifestyle. She does. It almost defies logic of why they got back together again. I think that he was just kind of in between. This guy's been with every Hollywood girl that there is. I think he's been with them all. Then you get the bromance. You get his little boyfriend there who's pissed off. He's not very happy either. But that's life.
NBC. Oh, it looks like NBC ran with the story right off the bat. Oh, look, they out there in big mass numbers already protesting against him. This idiot. Biden. It says a frothing rage against Trump is accomplishing what Biden can't. Well, he's the one that did it. So what do you mean it's Biden can't? That makes no ignorant sense at all. Sometimes I just wonder about some of these networks and what their producers are actually smoking, because it's got to be something good.
Weed's being legalized all over the place, so hey, smoke them if you got them, I guess.
Oh man, look, that's not a good sign. The Democrats voted for they got a Democrat in Alaska this year for our senator.
Oh, they got Palin. They kicked Palin out of there in the race. But Palin, she was terrible anyway, and I don't like Sarah Palin. I don't like anything about her. Her whole deal. I don't like anything about her. Nothing. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Palin, I thought she's, some Republicans need to learn not to run. Okay. Oh wait, so this is all black people hating on, I guess, Biden. Biden on offensive, Trump on the defense. Biden strings together victories as Trump deals with legal drama. What victories? What victories? The poll numbers are back in the shitter again. NBC would lie anything, man.
Oh yeah, you can't.
It's like that dream. The she lie. Everything coming out of her mouth is a lie.
I don't bother listening to NBC. Those guys. There's no reason to. There's no reason.
So far, NBC is the only one carrying the damn story. CNN wasn't, and neither was CBS. I'm gonna go buy Fox in a minute and see what they're carrying. But
New York Post, you got Biden. Right now, the headline with the Post is Serena.
Yeah, that's the headline almost everywhere. They're not. She's beating out Biden's speech. That should tell you.
Maybe she should run for president then.
But it also proves my point that NBC is the only true haven of hardcore liberals anymore. The liberals are starting to lose their hold on the media.
Here's a better headline for you. Teacher accused of sleeping with student is now teaching yoga online. You know? That's what I say. If I had a teacher like that, I would have showed up more often. That's all I'm going to
Let's
say.
see. Oh, Fox's lead story is running for her life. Police, wait, what? What the hell, Fox? They're not even going anything hardcore. Police race to find mom abducted on morning jog. Okay, so that's what they're going with.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Yeah, they're not. I don't see. They don't even mention what's in. They mentioned Serena. She's kind of down there. A couple of tropical storms.
Well,
Dem
there's gonna be a
spent
hurricane.
millions to help pro-Trump candidates win as Biden bashes mega. I'm confused.
Been a very slow hurricane season. Remember last year there was a couple hurricanes, and you had the AOC saying it was global warming. Everybody's going to die. These hurricanes are happening from global warming. But when the hurricanes don't happen, they don't say anything.
Yeah.
I will say there's climate changing, man. You know,
so
things are shifting.
I know. Well, you see when all the people that went to jail got busted under Trump, right? Now, 3 of them have gotten new trials. They're saying because it was no real thing, they never had any evidence to come after them in the first place. The whole thing was a lie. They used it to come after them. CNN shakeup from MSNBC host White House liberals furious over John Hardwood's exit. Yeah, they're getting rid of all them liberals, buddy. CNN's kicking into the curb. That's the 3rd one in a week. They're like, get out of here. You don't make us no money. And since liberalism doesn't seem to make them any money, they have to move on to something else. It's just kind of sad. But, you know, of course, that's a story Fox is going to feature because it hates on CNN and NBC. I don't, you know, but there's no, but so 5 out of the 7 I've been to have not had Biden hardly even mentioned. They're not even talking about him. They're like, whatever, dude. Tropical Storm Earl, not enough police to small businesses, desperate plea to liberal cities after thieves ransack shops all over their cities. Yeah, see, we were just talking about this just a minute ago, how their cities are just crap holes. Biden admin wait, what? Biden admin will offer abortions in some cases, even in states where it's outlawed. I don't think that's going to fly. I think the Supreme Court's going to overrule that. Judge rules on Steve's abandoned request for a new trial after his conviction. You know, if he gets a new trial and he wins, somebody, Mueller or somebody, FBI, going to get sued into bankruptcy. Can you bankrupt the FBI? I didn't think about that. It doesn't say what the ruling is, though. And that's the other thing. If it's a liberal judge, they're just going to not deny the request. That's all they're going to do. That's all that's going to happen. They're just going to deny the request. Actually, Bruce, I got one more news I'm going to, and then we're going to go into something else. But it's I've just been checking them and seeing who's saying what about what. When the president's gives a speech, I always like to check the big 5. I actually started checking one of the other conservative networks too now. Not just Fox, because, you know, I consider there's 5 liberal networks and 1 conservative. But it looks like they're going to be maybe 2 conservatives, maybe 3, and 3 liberals, which is what there should be.
Shouldn't be any of that. It should just be middle, not political. The news should be not political. They could have magazine shows or whatever, political point shows and that type of thing. But the news should just be the news. Hey, this is what happened. These are the facts. Boom. You know,
but that's where America got confused. So America got confused in the beginning. Now, the Z Gens and the millennials are kind of understanding this faster than the X Gens and the baby boomers are. That internet news or cable news is not news. It's opinion news. It's not real news. It's not hard-hitting journalism. Even Sean Hannity, I've heard him say it on his own show, I'm not a journalist, I'm a host. And even Rachel Maddow said that, I'm not a journalist, I'm a host. So at least they're starting to admit it now, so it makes it easier. So people don't take it as serious, if you know what I mean. Yeah. You know, and because people do, man, people were taking, I remember doing the first 18 months of Trump running, everything that got on the line, everything that went on, and anywhere on the internet, they were taking as gospel. And I'm thinking, you can't do that. It's the fucking internet, people. You can't take nothing as gospel on the internet. It's the internet, people. Internet is, you can find an opinion for everything on the internet. So you could say something, you could have scientific proof that that's what it is, but yet somebody else would find something on the internet that was scientific proof against it. Don't ask me. It's insane. It's insane.
I don't know, Joe. They're saying Ben Affleck is back to brooding after J Lo's wedding.
It ain't going
He's
nowhere.
making that face. He doesn't look. It doesn't
Ben,
look like a happy man to me.
no, Ben wants to be whooped. That's the problem. That is him happy when he's brooding and pounding. That's who he is, man. He's happy. She got him whooped. He's
You know who's
done.
not
He's
happy is A-Rod, who's trying to buy a part of that team, and he was going to use J Lo's money and her notoriety, and now he can't. So the deal is going faux pas. He actually borrowed 3% what the team was worth to put a down payment from the other investor because of J Lo. So look at that. She's a powerful woman. She's in her prime right now. She's going to be in her prime a few more years. She's already hit the wall. It's going to be no time at all. No one's going to care. But right now she's shaking her booty. Right now, the thing with J Lo is people always say the same thing. She looks really good for her age. When you get to that point, there's not much left for the energetic performances that she does and all the things. I mean, there's a lot that she's into the stage shows and the design and all that. There's a lot of glitz and glamour and power behind that. Ben Affleck wants to be the guy off to the side just with a family life, and it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Not probably for another 5 to 7 years. That's my view. My humble opinion.
Ben's old now, man. He got to settle down.
But Leonardo DiCaprio, they knock him instead. He's 47. He dates girls around 25, and 25 is the limit. That's when the emotional diarrhea starts. That's when the baggage. That's when all the negative things at 25, right? 26, girls start having issues, man. At 30, you know what? That's the sour. 30 and 40 is that sour zone. You know what I mean? But 25. So what are they doing?
You man. Leo, you need to come down here and meet some Southern women.
Leo, they are knocking.
Man,
Leo.
them Northern women must be just bitches, man. They
are. They're knocking this dude because they're knocking him because he's happy. Women hate seeing men happy. That in Cosmopolitan, man. I just read an article. I just read an article about meeting people, and then when women look at a man's face, they don't like to see him smile. So when they're in supermarkets or you're in church, if you're walking down the street and you're meeting somebody, the women don't want to see a wince of pain because they already know that you're in a relationship. If they see that, they want to see the straight face. I'm kind of sad because I'm not being dominated right now by a female. That's what they want to see. But if a guy is smiling, they think he's gay or whatever, man. That's all. Whatever. That's my humble opinion. God damn it. How's that?
No good. He's cut off, man. We're officially cutting you off, man. That's it. You're cut off. That's the end of that. You're cut off.
That felt good. This shows my therapy. All these shows, people don't realize this is my therapy. Just let it out. Let it out, man.
It's good therapy, man. Let's see what CBS has to say.
Not all women, no, man, but there's a large group of them that are, yeah. And guys too, who blue pills out there. They're the ones who cause the problems to begin with. But women don't care about guys in general. That they care about what men can do for you.
This tells me how sad this speech really was. Now on CBS, their open story is detailed list of property received in Trump's FBI released. That's the opening story. So let's see what the second story is. Serena Williams loses third round. Fourth story is NASA's countdown to Saturday's launch. Fifth story is
do you like tennis?
Trump storing classified information at Margot.
You like tennis at all?
Water crisis. Bolton City's Trump's handler. Jane Fonda diagnosed. 8 migrants found dead in river along Mexico. White House defends putting Marines by Biden. So that's where the Biden story is on this page. Leave a tiny story way at the bottom of the page. That's how. And why would Biden's never even served? Does he not understand how disgusting that's going to be for people who have served?
So did you hear this one? That the cartels are harvesting organs of people who are cutting through Mexico. They're grabbing them, and basically you need a lung, you need a kidney, you need whatever. they're doing that. They're taking the
Oh,
page from the
that wouldn't even
Chinese.
surprise me. I mean, Chinese been doing it for 10
Yeah,
years.
taking the page from the Chinese. Also, they're taking the children, cutting them open, and putting drugs inside of them, fentanyl, and whatever they can get to get them across the border. So these are the things when Biden invites people for an open border. That's what's happening. You got a lot of Africans, you got a lot of other people coming through from all parts of the world, Indian people, all parts of the world. And with an open border, you don't know who's coming through, what their intention is. Are they coming here to live free? Are they coming here to cause trouble? Are they criminals? You don't know. You don't know. So this mess is Biden's mess. Trump had a handle on it. Right now there's over 2 million came over so far, and there's more coming on the way. I mean, usually the summertime there's a lull because it's hot, and these migrants don't travel. It's just too hot. They're still coming, and they're coming in big numbers, and it's terrible. So when they get to the city in the bus, if I was the mayor, I would take the bus to JFK and fly them back to the country they came from. Simple as that. We have your property, we're returning it. Simple as that. And then send that government a bill for the flight. Why can't we do that, Joe?
Because nobody loves us, Michael. That's why.
No one loves us. No one.
No one
loves
Oh, wait.
us.
Oh, wait. Here's ABC's lead story. What do you? Oh, this is just a goofy one. From Kyle Rittenhouse to Taekwondo master, who's been in Trump's Mar-a-Lago office. The next one is monkeypox. U.S. to okay 1 billion arms sales to Taiwan. Oh, I like that. Mothers and child abducted from Target parking lot. Fake.
Did you see that China is flying armed drone flights into Taiwan airspace and strafing the bits and pieces there and shooting stuff? And Taiwan said, "We're going to shoot you down. You fly your drones in our airspace, we're going to shoot you down." So it's becoming push and shove. Man.
Yeah, but I still say China learned a lesson from Russia. Don't bankrupt yourself over Taiwan.
Yep.
Because the world, you know what? China ain't got enough nukes to defend themselves. We can easily shoot down their little 400. And we already know a lot of their technology is garbage too. One thing I've learned about these so-called nukes since we had to do the disarmament is they're not always what they say they are. So.
I'll say this about the Chinese people. They have no fighting spirit for the current regime. The average Chinese person that I understand doesn't follow the red, like the red stuff, the communism and all that. They want to be free. And I'll tell you what's going on right now inside China. I mean, I watch these shows that deal with all this, right? To get the truth and what's coming out of China, like Freedom Talk. And the Chinese government has screwed over hundreds and thousands of soldiers who just retired recently within the last 2 years from the military. So they're supposed to, give them pay and take care of them and all that. Their families, they cut them off. They're giving them nothing. So these soldiers now have gotten together with a large support group for each other, and they want their money. And then, they're demanding it from the Chinese government. So that's what's going on now, too. So I think it'd be easy to stoke some flames inside of dissent. And in China right now, the rivers have dried up. The Yangtze River and all that, all these rivers they rely on for trade, for water, for power, everything has dried up. Isn't that interesting? There's freshwater supplies evaporating around the globe. And you know what sparked the whole thing was the Tonga volcano. That's what sparked all these things. It accelerated melting and it put a lot of moisture in the air, all of that. So for people to say that, humans are causing our own destruction, yeah, in a very small part, sure. But there's a larger spectrum of cataclysmic event that we need to be pulled together for and be there for each other globally,
I don't want global. I want America first. Then global.
America first.
I want America first, buddy. Then the globe.
What's that I hear from that gulag?
I think America should rule the world. I'm just saying. I watch these idiots around the world. I think we should be in charge. So that's why we can't never have one world government, because people like me are never going to go for Russia being in charge or China being in charge or Kim Jong-un being in charge.
Or the UN. Look at how effed up the UN is, man. I mean, and the people who are in it. You got one guy, this diplomat, just raped a girl in New York City, raped her. We pushed his way into her apartment, raped her, and then he got a diplomatic immunity. They released him, so now he boogied on back to Africa with his family. Nice, huh? But then there's nothing they can do about it. So here's this woman, an American, raped and abused by some diplomat. And so this is the bullcrap that needs to stop. Things like that. Anything, yeah, if it's going to be our own country, men, women first, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And then we have unions with other people that feel the same way. And then once we're all strong individually, we can help one another. But if you take on the burden of the world, we'll never be strong. We'll always be weakened. When I graduated high school in 1984, there was a little more than 4.5 billion people on the planet. Now there's almost 8. By the end of the year, there's going to be 8 billion people. Think about it, from 1984 until now. That's an unbelievable growth of people. They need water, they need food, they need places to live, and all that. So we are we're going to be faced with a lot of very important questions that are going to have to be timely answered, because when time runs out and you don't answer the questions, then you're faced with a disaster. When you don't see these things coming, you're faced with disaster. So that's the honest note. I think these are the best times of our lives right now, because for the rest of, I'm pushing 55. I know you're an old fart. You're older than
You
me.
old as dirt, man. Damn, what do you mean? I'm younger than you. I'm 45. What the hell you talking about?
The only 45 about you is your gun, man. You know what? And at some point, the both of us are just going to be brains in a jar doing this very same show. You know what I mean? It's just brains in a jar. That's it. But the rest of the world is going to have to figure out what the hell they're going to do. So if I can get a cyborg body, I'll do that. I'll do it. But
don't be weird, man. Don't be weird. I'm just saying.
Weird is what's going on now. Weird is what we're faced with
I stand here tonight
as people.
Wait, what the hell? Oh, wait, I hear him. I hear him.
This was one of the harshest critiques we've heard yet from this president. Biden arguing that the November elections are really a moral choice.
It's too loud.
Preservation of our democracy.
It's too loud.
President Biden outlining a stark choice.
Jesus Christ, turn it down.
You want some Biden? I know what's going on.
Shit, man, he's blasting my ears. That crap. That was painful. It's too late.
You're in love with the man. Don't lie. You in love.
It was too loud. You were blasting it. I think you just damaged our audience, man. Anybody out there hurting? Jesus Christ. So yeah. Stop playing with your cell phone and get back on the show.
I'm coming. That's your boss hit me up, man. Don't get on me. Get on the boss.
I ain't got no boss.
That's the boss, man. She's the boss. You got to deal with the boss, man. That's how it works.
Dictator in chief. That's what he is.
That's okay. Right? That's her job, is to be dictator in chief, man. This ain't no effing democracy. No, this ain't even a republic, man.
I don't know what it is anymore. It's it's a big lying fest. People lie on one side, they lie on the other side, they lie in between. And who's suffering is but people, plain old people, regular old people. And that's the really harsh, disheartening part of the whole thing, is that people suffer and from these lame decisions, and then Biden attacking people, So Hillary did the same thing. Deplorables. She said the word deplorables and she lost the election. Biden doesn't want to win the election. He wants to go back to his crime style in his life. The Biden crime family. He wants to continue on with that. He's got things good. I don't even think he knows where the hell he is. I don't know what they pumped him full of, some kind of drugs to keep him going that long last night, but they did. You got to throw him out.
It's called adrenaline.
Pump him full of drugs and put him out there in front of a microphone. I've been there. I've been there before.
Apparently it works, man, because he got out there and got all fired up and talked away.
Hunter Thompson used to say he did his best writing when he was smashed. It's kind of funny.
Oh, look, but One American News ran with his as Biden runs. He ran his story right off first. White House tries to spin Marine effort. Oh no, he didn't. White House tries to spin Marine effort after negative feedback. You see all that work and all that flash and all that, and they still screwed it. They still screw. That's just typical for liberals anymore. Pinout approves 1.1 billion in arms sales to Taiwan. Oh, we're sending them long-range missiles. Oh shit, we're trying to start a war with China, aren't we? No wonder Russia's.
Attacker allegedly pummels 75-year-old in broad daylight New York City attack. There you go.
Biden faces criticism for extreme primetime address targeting mega GOP. Oh man, he's this is coming from his own people. Just tells you he's got a bunch of kids back there trying to figure out what he's doing. Nobody, when he sense, would allow this stuff to go on, man.
Taxpayer-funded BLM murals. What do you think of that?
I think his wife's running the country, man.
I don't think anybody's running. I think they just come out with different ideas, and that's
just
the way it goes.
I think there is. New gun laws starts in New York.
Yep.
That's going to the Supreme Court. They already said they're going to overturn it. Americans for Tax Reform exploring lawsuits against Biden admin over student loan forgiveness. He's just everywhere you go, he's in trouble. One-on-one with California state representatives. Oh yeah, we don't care. They're all in trouble out in California as well.
California's got some goddamn big problems. You know, they're having a huge heat wave, and they've lost power. They're shutting the grids down, so people with electric cars can't charge the cars. They're told not to. They're not allowed to use any electricity because of all this. They've got the big winds and they got the fires. So then Newsom, you know, they're trying to get rid of all the gas plants and all that. He's just ordered all the fossil fuel plants to run at maximum during this crisis. But what are they going to do after this crisis? You know, and water, they have a huge water problem. You know, 27% of the water that comes from Lake Mead goes to California. So they have a huge problem, one after the other. Newsom's just oblivious. He's oblivious to all of it. But why have an electric car if you can't charge the goddamn thing to begin with?
I don't know. You know, my friend Martha's always wondering about that same thing. She said, I think she wants a date with Tesla. But
I filled up my car the other day with some sweet, funky stuff. And it took me 5 minutes, man. My car said, give me some of that sweet, funky stuff. And I said, all right. Some sweet, funky stuff. I filled that tank. Said, all right. My wallet didn't say all right. but the tank said, all right. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
So I'll take that.
I dropped my phone.
5 minutes.
Sailing.
I can sit there and idle in my car and put the air conditioner on if it's hot. If I had to, if the power goes out. But if you have an electric car and your power goes out, or no, you're in California, have an electric car. It's not charged. You can't go anywhere. Here comes a huge freaking firestorm burning up your block, and you have to evacuate, but you can't because you're stuck with electric car. It's not going to move. Man.
Well, because that's, you know, I was having a conversation with Martha just the other day as we were talking about it, and I was like, it's a big paperweight. That's what it is. It's a big paperweight.
Martha, your gun?
No, Martha, my friend.
Martha, oh my God. I thought you were talking to your gun, because that's the first sign. I'd have to alert the FBI. You know, like Joe. I love Joe to death, but he's talking to his handgun. So, you know, they had an argument.
I would be worried. I would be worried too, my friend. I would definitely be worried. No, it's just there's so much going on. I don't. Somebody needs to get a handle on it, and we need to balance out the government before it gets too out of control. So hopefully, we'll see some wins for the Republicans.
How's that going to happen? Let's do what if? What if Trump gets back in? Right? What if you know that the liberal left is going to go lose their minds, and it's going to get, and then it's going to be things won't be the same. Things will be worse. You know, they'll be more violent. It'll be more angry. They have a green light to use weapons and do what they do to express their feelings, right? If they feel they've been, you know, offended, or if they feel like they're any kind of a victim, you know what I mean? So what if Trump gets back in?
Well, see, that's a dual thing. So you got two things that could actually happen with Trump. If Trump's cleared of everything and gets in, the Dems are screwed. There's nothing they can say. There's just nothing they can say. They just have to sit down and eat it. It'll just be because any violence or anything like that would even make it worse for him. So if he can get to the point where he can win after all of this, then the Dems they just can't say anything. They'll just have to sit back and take it for 4 years. But more than likely, what's really going to happen is DeSantis is going to probably end up being president of the United States, maybe with Nikki Haley as VP.
The only Trump, yes, that's the only real a positive outcome if you have a DeSantis who wins, who he's a Republican, but he's not a Trump, he's anybody but Trump. And yeah, if he picks a banging VP and then Trump supports the both of them, that's going to be that. But if Trump gets in, it's just going to be more of the fighting, the anger, the killing, and people beating each other up and whatever, and it'll be that. And I fear for Trump's life. I feel like they're not going to let him get to that.
Again, I don't think that's how it's going to turn out. If Trump beats the FBI and all these in the DOJ, the Dems are screwed. They're not going to be able to do anything.
The Simpsons cartoon, man.
But you're not thinking what you're not taking into consideration. What you're not considering if Trump wins, he's already going to have the House and the Senate. The Dems are done. If they get even a little bit violent, they'll be all going to jail. Because Trump's going to have a vendetta, and so is DeSantis.
What happened last time they were violent. They lost. But
last time was different. Last time it was just some bullshit. He hadn't been cleared of anything. He'll have to be cleared this time to run, and if he's cleared, the Dems will have to sit back for 4 years and take it. They lost. They'll have lost the Jan 6 thing. They will have lost the thing from Belargo. They would have lost the election, and anything after that would just make them look like shit losers. He's not going to take it. You got to remember, it's not just about them anymore. It's about the countries involved now. Anytime the country gets involved in elections, you never know what the hell's going to happen.
If there's an ongoing investigation, he may not be able to run.
Yeah, he can run. As long as he's not been convicted, he can run. He can be indicted and run. He's innocent until proven guilty under the court law. I mean, we had 2 people in Louisiana while going to trial, won their elections, are still in office.
They're going to have to look into that, though, for federal office for president. They're going to have to look.
Doesn't matter. You can't tell him no because he hasn't been found guilty of a crime. That's the only thing that can keep him off from running is a federal crime. He will have to have had broken federal law and been convicted of it.
He was indicted twice.
Yeah, but that doesn't keep him from running. That doesn't keep him from serving.
I think that they'll do whatever they need to do to keep him out. That's all.
But that's the thing. That's what they tried to do last time, and they lost. And they're looking bad for that. That's one of the things that's hurting them in this oncoming election is the Russian stuff. It's also the stuff that's hurting them in this investigation.
The Democrats, all that talk just makes me think that they're afraid of losing.
They are afraid. They're afraid. They're about to lose.
They need to keep power. And they're
going to lose. In the polls right now,
they're going to lose the Congress.
When you poll the nation, not just some liberal group, when you poll the nation of like 10 or 20,000 people, Trump's winning. He wins every time. He's winning. He's going to win the primary. Right now, he's still 20 points ahead of DeSantis in the primary. And now that stupid attack to MAGA, he's going to be 40 points ahead of DeSantis. So if he takes the primary, he's going to be the next president because he's going to eat Biden alive this time. Biden's got just too much baggage now. And the economy is going to suck. Afghanistan sucked. Ukraine sucked. Everything he said, he gets to stand up on stage and say, "I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so."
That's all he has to say.
Then
he doesn't have to say anything more. And all he can say, "I can fix it." I can fix it. And people know that about him. And he won't be saying it. People know that about him. They know that Trump can go in there and fix things.
The Dems, that's why they're so desperate. This is a do or die for them because if they lose here, they probably won't see power again for 12 or 16 years. So they can't lose this because they know if Trump comes in and does good for 4 years, DeSantis or someone like it's coming in and getting another 8. And if Nikki Haley runs with him and they do good for 8 more, she will probably be the first woman president for another 8. So it's conceivable for them to lose 20 years of power here easily. And if that happens, it won't be a Democratic Party anymore. It'll be a dissolved, messed up piece of crap. It'll be broken to pieces because they won't know how to get it back together. That's almost what happened to the GOP last time when it fractured into the whatever that Tea Party was. Oh, yes, I want some tea party. Martha, would you like some tea? Michael said he'd like some tea. Anybody else out there like some tea? Jeremy, you like some tea? Tea time. Some Earl Grey, maybe? Some hot lemon tea? I'm just saying. I got some sitting over there somewhere. Looks good, too. But again, so I've been on 9 news sites tonight. Only 2 of them featured this the speech, and only one of them actually featured the speech. The other one was criticizing the speech. Matter of fact, 3 of them had criticisms about the speech. Even ABC and CBS did. So I don't know, guys. They got up there, they did all this hubbub, they tried to stir up, they're basically, hating outright. And then they wonder why America looks like them at the party of hate, because they are. They're the party of hate. It's a shame. Who is that? Yeah, you can send me something to eat. I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm staying at the Marriott in Midtown. Yes. Well, I'm not giving my roommate out over the air. You crazy? Text me and I'll give it to you. No, indeed. I don't want no crazies knocking on my. Well, I'm not
You're gonna be
saying
hooking up with some dude. He's all mad at what you're saying.
I know. You'd be reading about somebody, some guy from New Orleans shoots up somebody in Atlanta for trying to whatever.
You gotta be careful in Atlanta, man. Ain't no playground.
No, I got friends all over up here, but I got family up here as well. But
that doesn't matter. I'm talking about your
people
aren't your friends.
Let's be honest, man. Atlanta is not as violent as New Orleans is. They're not as crazy either, but there's more of them. That's the thing.
Different mentality. But yeah,
there's just way more of them up here. I mean, down in New Orleans, population's down to like 350,000. That's just tiny now, and I think Atlanta is 2 million or something. So it's just crazy.
Very angry and political Atlanta.
But see where I'm at right now, which you can't really see, but where I'm at right now, I'm just in Atlanta's got the city's big and it's got 2 to 3 sections, and all those sections, they're pretty much safe because it's just downtown because there's no homes and if there's apartments, they're so expensive, none of the bad people are living there. Now, when you get out in the outskirts, that's a whole different thing. But then there's parts of suburbs outside of Atlanta that are beautiful, the cul-de-sac communities that you can get a nice 4,000 square foot house for $300,000. I mean, you can't touch that in New Orleans, man. It'd be $2 million. It'd be $2 million here in Atlanta. But you get outside, they got a lot of building going, and they do those communities where the rabbits come through and the deer come through. I'm like, really? I was sitting out there smoking a cigarette one night at my sister's, and this deer, the whole herd of them come through. I was like, man, I need to go out and get my gun out of the car. It's like, leave my deer alone. I was going to shoot one of them bastards.
Pretty much upstate. So tell us about Dragon Con, man. What happens there? What do people do?
Dragon Con is insane, is what Dragon Con is. I'll be at Dragon Con the next 3 days. So if anybody's around at Dragon Con in Atlanta, come on out and see me. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So basically, for the passes I got 3-day pass. It's $130. Oh, excuse me. You got access to everything. There's 5 hotels full of events. They've got lectures and speeches and panels, and they've got wrestling, about all kinds of stuff, Comic-Con stuff. You got movie stars here. You got TV show specials here. They're all down here. I mean, you got like different TV shows.
So it's not just about dragons.
No, it's not just about dragons. It was started out as just about comics, but now it's about illustrating and writing and media and television and movies, and you'll see a bunch of Marvel stuff here. You'll see a bunch of people will be dressed up.
What about paranormal?
Yeah, there'll be paranormal stuff here, and you can get a table at Comic-Con. You got to pay for it. You can get a table. They always tell you to do it as early as you can because sometimes there's a waiting list to get here. But I mean, everything you think of. Plus, with the ticket, not only do you get to go to all the different events, but they supply snacks and drinks and stuff at all different kind of locations while you're moving around. There's food deals going on, and it's just tons and tons of entertainment. I mean, they do TV clips and video clips, and I know there's a couple of different groups. I know some of the Stargate Atlantis people are here. I know some of the Walking Dead people are here. There's a couple other more.
Is that show still on the air?
Yeah, that one actually is. But there's a couple of more recent stars that are here as well, and then there's just all kind of people in the industries here, from writers and authors and all sorts of other stuff. So if you're into any kind of thing that's in a sci-fi or fantasy or stuff like that, it's going to probably be here, and probably somebody dressed like it. That's one of the funner parts of it. A lot of people dress up,
like they go topless. The girls go topless out here.
I don't think it's allowed in Atlanta. If that was in New Orleans, maybe, but Atlanta might frown on topless. Oh, wait, on a side note, now that you said, makes me think of something. Taiwan's got some weird rules. You can't leave your house without underwear on. It's illegal. You cannot drive your vehicle topless. It is illegal.
But how are they going to know if you don't have underwear on?
Well, if you get caught, apparently, if accident or something. Oh, and you cannot step on the money because it's got a king's face on it. Just weird stuff. I was like, what? That's like, it's a friend of mine says, that's useless knowledge. Like I need that crap in my head. It's like not enough useless knowledge.
Sounds the no underwear thing sounds very restricting, man. I like to go commando. myself. You know what I mean? But and I'd be breaking the law in Taiwan. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
you'd be. No, I don't know. And it said driving. Oh no, it said leaving your house. That's right. You can't drive without a shirt on. That's what it was. You can't leave your house without underwear. There. I mean, maybe they had underwear detectors.
What if you had like a ball sack? You know those underwear that kind of like the G string with the thing, the marbles, the marble sack.
They sound like they frown on this kind of stuff. Bobby, wait. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong person. Kimberly, where are you writing from? I see you just writing all kind of stuff all over the place. Oh, I should have known. You're from New York, New York. Well, Michael's from New York. He's not from New York, New York. He's higher up the state, but you in New York. So what do you? Anyway, what's your big bitch tonight? Spit it out. Spit it out. What is it? Oh, look, what? Who AOC? I don't. AOC's got the look of the leprechaun. She's ignorant. She's stupid. She's kind of fugly, and she's
Don't
still
call her fugly, man. You think
she's fugly, man. My damn Chihuahua looks better than her. She is fugly. She's
You're hanging out with your Chihuahua.
outside. Her hair's all funny. Yes, I did say that anyway. Immediately when I say that, two people, hey, did you just say this? They're lopsided. One's up here, one's down here. Her eyes are lopsided too, but they're opposite of the other thing I was talking about. So the girl's just weird. She has no brain at all. Her daddy was quite happy.
You think she's an alien?
And how the hell she wins is beyond me. Her district is in so much crap. I don't even know how anybody votes for her. I mean, who are they? We can't blame her a Republican.
It was bought and paid for. It was bought and paid for. Those people will vote for whoever the Democrats tell them to vote for. You know, a lot of them don't even speak English, and they just vote for whatever they see her. They think that she's good.
She was like the Bronx and something else.
Parts of Queens.
Maybe Queens picks her. I don't know. It's just it bothers me just to see it though.
The crappy section of Bronx supposedly where she lived. She never lived there. Her father lived there, and I guess she got mail.
What scares me is when you go back and look at Nancy Pelosi when she was young, which by the way she was cute, but she was just about as stupid.
AOC's being challenged anyway, and you know her challenger says basically she's not doing anything. Even their own Democrats calling her out in Queens and the Bronx for not doing anything for people. You know, she's not helping anyone anyway. She's just out there. Now she's losing power. You know, a lot of their cohorts got voted down. So and the Democrats don't need them. They don't need them now. They will soon, but right now they don't need that hardcore reactive left, Antifas and the BLMs. You don't really hear anything from them. What do they do? What does the BLM do with it? They've collected billions of dollars.
Oh man, all the branches of BLM are under investigation.
I see that they bought mansions and things like that, nice cars. Yeah, they pay themselves very well. But what do they do?
Two of them are probably going to. Okay, so this is weird. So we got to go back all the way to Obama. So the first set of BLMs all are in jail. All of them. They all ended up in jail. So the original founders of all three of the ones, you got the local, the state, and the local, the national, and international groups. All of those ended up in jail. Now, two of the international group, that's the ones who bought the house and all, they're going to probably end up in jail too. Yeah. But there's one group that's a national group. They're actually pretty legit. And the money they had, they don't have as much as they used to, but they were actually putting back into the communities and actually helping people. So I can't really
I've looked for this information. I just don't see
it. That's a national group, and that's a national group that formed under Trump, not under Obama.
I see how they gave that guy, the one that got shot with the Skittles in Florida, by the security guard or whatever, the neighborhood watch guy, that dude, they gave him Trayvon Martin, right? They gave his family a bunch of money. But what are they doing for the community? What are they doing to stop the violence in the Black community, especially Black and Latino communities? But mainly the Black community. That 90% of Black on Black crime. What are they doing to stop that?
Well, a lot of that was getting the police together with the neighborhood watches and stuff, so they could all start coordinating. They're not anti-police. That was the politicians. They're not anti-cops. They know that if you're going to have a safe neighborhood, the cops have to be involved. It's not just enough, because you can't really put a militia in. What was the ones that used to run or still run around New York with the bandanas on their head, the berets on their head, the red berets, or
Curtis Sliwa is
Guardian
Angels.
Yeah, guardian angels. Yeah, people were thinking about doing stuff like that in neighborhoods, but there was a lot of time turning into mobs themselves. So um,
You can't do it now because there's too much violence. They'll
yeah,
get their asses handed to them. They'll be killed.
that's why you have
They'd
to
be
have
killed.
the police involved. I mean, if you're going to have a safe community, the police have to be involved.
First thing you got to do is get the criminals off the streets and get the illegal guns off the streets. I mean, you got to do that. And then after that, yeah, those neighborhoods can start becoming safe because your criminals are gone. Then in those neighborhoods, they need opportunity. Then people need jobs. People need better food, better housing, things like that. So there's multiple tiers to correcting the situation, but I just don't see it happening, and I don't see anybody talking about it. Spike Lee thinks the problem in the black community, the biggest problem facing the black community, is police. Are you serious?
Police? No, Spike Lee's not going to be around for that much longer, so it doesn't matter.
He's irrelevant right now. He produces his movies, whatever. But in his movie, Do the Right Thing. It's a great movie. I like the artistic intent. I like the camera angles and all that. But the movie was shot in Bedford-Stuyvesant back in 1989. The one thing the movie leaves out entirely is the crime. There's no crime in that neighborhood. The only thing is the police are aggressive, and then the guy's Italian pizza shop who wouldn't put pictures of black people up on the wall, and then became this whole thing. And the cops ended up killing this one dude, Radio Raheem, the whole neighborhood was afraid of. But they didn't address the crime. Bedford-Stuyvesant is one of the most dangerous zip codes in the world. They didn't address the crime. And if you're going to ignore it, you're not going to be able to fix it. That's really what it is. That's what my mama taught me.
You can't ignore the problems. It's always about practice what you preach, or put up or shut up. But any way it goes, you have to show people how to do things.
They want reparations, man. Spike Lee screams as Al Sharpton, and Al Sharpton started.
Wait, that's the other problem.
You see, Al Sharpton started to come against Joe Biden. You know what I mean? And the Democratic Party.
That's the other problem. Who wants reparations? First off, not all blacks in this country came from slaves, and not all blacks came from horrible slaves, and no black alive today was ever a slave, not in the last 150 years. So who gets the money? Why do they get the money? First, they're going to have to prove direct ancestry. That's going to be hard enough because records kept back then were hard. So you can't just go around and just give all black people money, because that'd be discrimination. And then wait, and don't forget, whites have been slaves too, several times throughout history. Let's not forget the Romans and the Greeks and several other places where whites were slaves. So if we're going to talk restitution, then we're going to talk about the Jews. I mean, it's ridiculous. It'll never work. There's been too many atrocities done to too many people on this planet to go around and say, if you're going to give it to one, you got to give it to everybody. And if you give it to everybody, you bankrupted the world. So, I mean, it's a retarded thing to even think of. And where's the money going to come from? I'm not paying for restitutions. My family never owned slaves. That's bullshit. It's just not. That's the other problem.
But have you looked?
You can only go after the people who own slaves, and they're all dead and gone.
The Build Back Better plan includes billions of dollars for black-owned businesses and things like that. Or ones who want to start businesses up. All I see is a lot of money being stolen and just thrown away.
A lot of that money will go to places that are supposed to be lending money to small businesses and black-owned businesses, but it'll just get laundered into other stuff. But the Supreme Court already kind of weighed in on that. They said that's also discrimination. So what's happening now is more and more, not just the Supreme Court, but the federal courts are starting to look at affirmative action as discrimination now. Because when you put the black and Hispanic communities together, they're almost as large as the white community. So once they exceed, which won't be that long, and whites become 49 and they become 51, then it is discrimination. So then you either have to stop it or you have to give it to everybody. You can't give it to everybody.
They need
to actually have to stop giving it to them and give it to the whites, and that would start another problem. So
they need to fix what's broken, but it's not going to happen.
And then it always bothers me when I hear things like, well, we need more money. Well, the majority of people on welfare are not black, they're white. By far, it's like 3-1. So why are we taking care of them? I mean, anytime we talk about, we got to give some black people some money because they live in a ghetto. Well, you know what? There's a lot of white people live in ghettos, a lot more than there are blacks. So what the hell?
Let's take it for instance. When Bush was president, baby Bush, he made it possible for 50,000 Bantu member tribes members of the Bantu tribe, because there was Somalia, there was a lot of stuff going on. He made it possible for them to come to the U.S., loaded them up with some money. Some could start businesses and whatever. So they're supposed to come to the U.S. and settle here and settle there. They all settled in one place in Lewiston, Maine, right? So they changed the whole town, whole face of the town. Violence to the kids who live there, from these Somali kids and all that, and all this crap was going on. But now, more than 58% of the town, all these Bantu tribe members, most of them are unemployed and get welfare, right? So now the town's turning into a welfare town because of all this. And it's just interesting to see how things happen and how the government reacts and what what they green light, and then they kind of just, okay, you could do this, but then they run away and let the problem fester and get worse, instead of doing something about it, or having people settle into an area where you don't have that many jobs even. We're talking about Lewiston, Maine. You know what I mean? It's not Long Island. It's not Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. It's not Los Angeles. It's not some kind of center. It's the middle of nowhere. It's middle of nowhere, not anywhere near anywhere. Lewiston. So, but it's problems, and I see stories that every once in a while come out of there about just the violence going on and people leaving because they don't want their kids beaten up or killed by these gangs running around doing that. Beautiful, nice, piney type of town turned into a skating shithole in no time at all because of lack of representation. And that's really what that is.
Mm.
DC, they tried cleaning DC up with a big, talk about a zip code with a lot of bucks. That's Washington, D.C., man, so now all these migrants are collecting there. It's kind of funny that they're all going there. You know what I mean? They're leaving New York, they're leaving these other places, and they're all congregating in D.C. So D.C.'s been trying to clean things up for a long time. And I'm not saying it's going to make things worse, but it's not going to make things better if people have no jobs and they're sitting around on welfare, right? Especially while they don't speak English. That's a huge problem, and they refuse to. So, when you get naturalized, there's things that you need to do to become a U.S. citizen. These guys just waltz over the border and they're being handed cash. And so here's a place, here's money, here's everything, here's healthcare, free movie tickets, and all that stuff. They're putting them in hotels with other people staying there. These guests are renting these hotel rooms for a couple $100 a night in the city. And then here you have right next door all these migrants who just came up, and you don't know what the hell their deal is and whatever. And I'll tell you, I'm hearing nightmare stories. That's all I'll say. Nightmare stories about people saying, you wouldn't believe what I just encountered.
No kind of nightmare stories. I don't know. I just, it's like in New Orleans, they're trying to recall the mayor. That's the other thing. When you look around the country, there's a lot of Democrats on the recall, but the news doesn't talk about it very much. It seems to stay out of it.
They don't want to include it.
Bubba Mike, where'd you get that name from? Sent me BBC News. I guess now I have to look at BBC America to see if it matches. But first story on BBC, Serena Williams. Second story, empty folder marked classified at Mar-a-Lago. Last Soviet leader Mikhail being buried. U.S. approves $1 billion for Taiwan. Troops hand out 1.1 billion bottles of water in the U.S. I mean, Jane found a cancer. West Bank visitors must declare love interest. I'm not sure what that's about. Moon rocket going to the moon. What is this? Ousted former Sri Lanka president returns. I mean, nowhere on this page does it say anything about Joe Funkboy Biden. Nowhere. How can that even be? It's just, I don't even know what to think. I mean, even the news media don't want us to see this. That's how embarrassed they are of it.
I think that they're scared. I think a lot of people are frightened because
that was ridiculous. What he was saying.
They see the way things are going.
That was ridiculous. There. I mean, that's a call to arms for everybody in the country. Is what that was.
He declared war on half of America, basically. I mean, if I'm not even reading into what he said. This is what he said. It's not reading between the lines or assuming things. This is what he said. I feel threatened by what he said, and I'm not even a MAGA. I'm not even any of that. But I feel as a middle of the road person who has like freedom to vote for whoever I goddamn want to vote for, to have the sitting president threaten people, join us or be destroyed, basically. I mean, it's wrong. It's all wrong. The whole thing is wrong. He's wrong. They're wrong. what they're doing is wrong. What the Democratic Party is doing is wrong. They have some terrible actors within that group. They have a culture of corruption that's just inexhaustible. It seems like, and we need to fix all of these things if we want to be truly free and pursue the things that we want to pursue, like freedom and life and liberty and being happy. We're allowed those things, the pursuit of happiness. So the only threat I see to democracy are these people who are scheming against honest, regular people.
Yeah, and what gets me is I'll see people, Facebook pages go by and they're on, oh, Joe Biden's so great, he's the best president we've ever
Who
had.
says that?
All kind of liberals are out there saying that. It's just people want to follow. That's the problem with most people. There's very few leaders and lots of followers. So we always talk about that, too many chiefs and not enough Indians, but it's not true. For the most part, we're social animals. We're like cows or elephants. We want to follow.
Not me. How come I'm not?
Well, there are people who want to
I'll say there's too much cheese and not enough crackers, but that's pretty much it.
With 8 billion people, 7 billion, 400 million want to be followers. I mean, they just want to follow.
I think they just want to live their lives and be left alone.
But that's a follower.
They're going to take the path of least resistance, and
that's a follower. That's what followers do. Followers take the easiest way. They just follow along and do what they're told. Sheeples, yeah, they are definitely sheeples. I used to get in trouble all the time for doing the sheeple sound.
Moo.
People told me to stop making the sheeple sound, man. I was like, what? It's like the sheeples.
That's what they say. You're offending me. You stop making the sheep sound, and you're like,
I do, man. I get on there and I go wild with that stuff.
Or are you doing the squeal like a pig? Wee! Wee! What about that one?
Mike's losing his mind. Johnny Good, Johnny be good, Johnny be good. I haven't seen BBC World yet, actually.
You gotta look at Sky News out of Australia, man. They're nothing like the Sky News in the UK. They're like the polar opposite. But they're funny.
Oh, I know. I catch him. I catch him from time to time.
They're funny.
I'll see artists. I like the. I don't know if she's an Indian woman or what she is. I like her though. She's.
I like them all, man.
She don't play though. She's sharp. She knows her news. She gets out there and she doesn't play around. She's like, this is how it is. This is what's going on.
This guy.
As far as Trump, she has no problem sharing Trump and you know what, because, okay, here's BBC World. So we're going to start with BBC World. Lead story, Serena Williams. Now, here's Trump. I mean, here's Biden. So this is the man, everything he had tonight, everything. Everything. And what's the lead story? Serena Williams. And he's a racist, so this must really, really just piss him off. People don't even try to act like Biden's not a racist. All you got to do is go look at him through his career. He's extremely racist.
Just listen to what he said about black people. He's a card-carrying racist.
The only person that comes as close to him as how many black people he's put in jail is his Kamala Harris. So let's see. Next story is Russia keeps gas closed.
If you notice, he doesn't sniff any black people. You know that, man.
Yes.
You know what? He only sniffs white ones.
He's racist. Let's see. Burying Miguel Gorbachev. West Bank and visitors must declare love.
Gorbachev is dead.
I mean, these are the same
and Putin said he's too busy to go to his funeral. Too busy.
I know that's just bullshit with that.
That was the last.
This is the guy who brought Russia out of the Cold War. And
you think that Putin be tripping over himself to go there to show his presence? That shows Putin is weak as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't like funerals either, but some of them you have to go to.
It just shows he's a coward, is what it really shows.
I think maybe he's too sick to go.
I don't think he's too sick to go. I think he's a coward. I don't think he cares. It's not anything of interest of his.
I hear he's in a wheelchair.
And more than likely, his wife don't want to go. I don't know about him being in a wheelchair. I saw him the other day. He jumped up and tore up and grabbed his wife by the arm and drug her off, man.
They said that was a Putin lookalike. There's a lot of that going on now.
I don't think that was a lookalike because that would have been a lookalike. That would have been a lookalike. I think she'd have decked him because she was thinking about decking him as it was. You'd see it in her face. First Alaskan Native elected Sarah Palin loses. Ooh.
Palin's Palin. She's gone. I can't stand her anyway. She's such a
Only
white
only thing I
trash.
liked about Palin is she looked good in the bikini. That was it.
She's white trash, man. But those
She
big
looked.
giant glasses, her Sally Jesse Raphael glasses, Mr. She wasn't attractive to begin with. She was like most attractive Republican, which isn't saying anything, saying nothing. You know?
But she nowhere near the most attractive Republican. Jesus,
No, well,
they get
now,
some.
now. I'm talking about then, 20 years ago,
Oh, well, she did look good in the
25 years
bikini.
ago.
I got to give her credit. The girl had a hard body. She looked good in the bikini.
You know what? She was governor. She stepped down over a bunch of crap. She didn't fight. She didn't do anything, and she, was responsible for a bunch of BS projects. So she wasn't somebody who was electable, as far as I'm concerned. The the party, it's changing the right way. It's adapting, it's overcoming, it's doing its business. It used to be the party I didn't like the most. That, and now I find myself, levitating towards that. I think only mainly because the Democrats are such, they're so horrible right now, and it's a bad time in history for the Democratic Party. It may not survive in the future, because there's so much dissent and anger. There's a lot of anger within the party. I kind of feel like the party's going to cut each other's throats until that just falls apart completely. But it's a house of cards. The Republicans seem pretty gleeful that Biden's speech was the way it was. I mean, but he's just tearing apart the country. I can't be gleeful about that. You know what I mean? So in the end, that's what we've got, and the headlines are going to reflect that. It's a lot of anger, a lot of confusion, a lot of frustration out there among people. People are just trying to live their lives. We're just trying to live our lives, make enough money to get through the day, maybe save a few bucks, pay our bills, and try to have nice things for ourselves. Just reliability in our own personal lives of what we can rely on, and we know what we can't rely on. So, but at the end of the day, I think that you have other interests out there that don't care how you live. They don't care about your future. They don't care about your kids' future. They don't care about the future of your town, your village, whatever the hell you live in, or your city. All they care about is power and that power is you. You're the power. Your voting power is the power. Your money is the power. That's what they care about is power and control. And the forces that are controlling these puppets, they're the most dangerous ones on the planet. They're the ones who are absolutely against any kind of freedom that you think you're going to have. So it's going to come down to a fight. It's going to come down to a brawl. And, whether it's politics, whether it's in the streets, people have had enough. They can't take anymore. They can't handle anymore. When you're at the end of your rope, you're there. You're there. And there's nothing that's going to stop that from happening. So, and then as crime gets out of control, I know people in the city who are afraid, people who live there all their lives are afraid to go out. They're afraid to go into the streets. They're staying home more often. They're being shut-ins. So you had COVID-19, a couple years worth of that, of people staying in and staying away from other people and that type of thing. Now you have just a whole nother element that it's being escalated. This crime, sitting there waiting for a bus, waiting for the train, walking down the street, or whatever, and you get your brains blown out by some wacko that should clearly have been in jail or some mental institution. Like they're roaming the streets and they're making excuses for these criminals. So look at this girl, slain dancer, exotic dancer. She was an exotic dancer and also working at IHOP in the city. Leaves work, walking down the street. Someone comes up with her to the back of their head and blows her brains out and leaves. Some guy. That's all, right? And unbelievable that maybe that was targeted, maybe it was random. It probably isn't as random, but it happened, and it's a frightening thing that's happening when people are being killed on the streets that are innocent, and the government's got nothing to say. You got Mayor Adams; he too busy partying. The guy is partying. He wants to go dance and go to shows. He's hobnobbing with famous people. You see, that was his buddy that got robbed, the religious guy, of $1 million in jewelry, a few weeks ago. That was his not just his friend, somebody he's done some kind of weird business with and forming that church to begin with. I don't think they went through Adam's background as much as they should have. I feel like the guy is very corrupt and would be happy to screw people over for a few bucks. But check this out. They had to cut 200 million from the budget from New York City schools, right? And he's doing a fast dance around that. Now they're saying with illegal immigrants and their kids, it's going to cost another 300 million just to put them through these schools and all that. So there you have it. There you have it, Abbott. Babbitt.
Abbott. Oh, we're getting short on time. What's up, guys? I got actually I got 1 minute, but we're gonna go over a couple of minutes, so you don't have to worry. But y'all got about 5 or 7 minutes. Anybody who's squeezing in questions and stuff like that. I don't know what this new thing is about dinging me on my cell phone, people. Some of y'all can, but some of y'all, what the hell y'all dinging me?
Are they sending you naked photos?
No.
They were doing that on an airplane. This pilot for Southwest, it was yelling at people like, I guess on iPhones now, they can send from one iPhone to another. So they were sending the pilot all these naked photos of them. They were going to Mexico or Cancun or whatever, So here's a lot of these little hotties in the back sending naked photos of themselves to the pilot. And he was like, "We're not going to leave if you keep doing that." I'd be like, "Keep doing it. We're not going to leave."
Right, get the hell out, man.
He's only a pilot. They're glorified bus drivers. Let's face it. You know what I mean?
Well, depends what kind of pilot they are. Let's not get crazy now.
I'm talking about airline commercial pilots. They're glorified bus drivers.
Yeah,
they make the money. They got the stewardesses and all that and whatever. But they're glorified bus drivers. They're the Greyhound bus driver of the sky. Yeah, they're people movers.
Yeah,
a lot of power. They have a lot of power.
Anybody feels brave enough that want to join Mike Live, just put a link out for the video people. I just click the link and it'll bring you right in here with us. Yes, it will. It will bring you all right in here. And if you're scared to use the camera, just hit stop cam. Yes. Well, I knew some of y'all might be scary, ugly. It's midnight, So
Nobody loves us, man.
I know, man. They're
Nobody
scared
wants to come on. Nobody loves us.
I was talking to a friend of mine in DC today, and then they were thinking about coming down to Dragon Con. I'm like, well, come on down. And you're going to be doing interviews? I said, not that many. I said, really? I said, it's more vacation for me. I said, I'm here to meet some people, talk to some people about some FM money, maybe talk about some people about getting some conferences going in the South, things like that. I said, it's business, but not hardcore business. Not a bunch of reporting, but it basically isn't. Crown is good stuff, man. That aged Crown is good stuff. The regular Crown isn't, but that aged stuff is good.
Crown Royal?
No, the aged Crown. Not anyway. I'll have to tell you about it. We're gonna get into it on here, but I'll tell you about it one of these days. Who? Okay, so Barry's writing in from California, from Los Angeles, and he's saying that Biden will most definitely be our next president, but the difference is that Newsom will be his VP. So that when he steps out, that Newsom can be the next president for 8 years. Hey, I'm all for that. Let's go for that. Yeah.
What happened to Kamala Harris? You gonna just kick her the slats out the door?
She's still polling lower than Joe at 38%.
What are they gonna do? They're gonna cut her throat. Then let me tell you, talk about a racist thing. You're gonna get rid of a black woman and put a white guy in there. Oh my God.
Oh my God, Michael! I can't believe you said that.
That's horrible. Racist, horrible. Racist, horrible.
I know it's extremely horrible. I don't
That's Democratic Party. Right?
But it is the party. I mean, that's who they are today.
But Newsom's got a series of disasters happening, and he's going to have to address that. They're not going to go away.
No, they're not. And any good Republican could eat him up. I mean, any good Republican could eat him up.
California is known for Republican.
So even though we've been watching, so let's see. I just typed in Biden polls. Let's see what kind of bullshit we're going to see. What's Biden approval rating up? No. New poll shows Biden approval rating rising as Democrats overtake Republicans on midterms. Biden frontless seems to be on the rise, really, because all the polls I've seen recently showed him going back down. Biden job rating rises to 44%, highest in a year.
Who wrote that?
Huh?
Who wrote that?
That was Gallup on August 25th, but since then it's gone down. So they're not going to put out the recent polls where he's biting it. And wait, let me go over these polls that say he's ahead. 53-80. They've always been, pro Biden or pro any liberal for that matter. They always got his. Most of the polls are always that with him, which I think they're NBC or CBS or ABC or somebody. Let's see. Right now, they've got him at currently his approval rating is at 42% on 3850. So that's actually down 3 points from where they were last week. And that's another big one. Let's see. Here's Independent, yet another big liberal rag. Let's go and see what we got here. What's his approval rating here? It is 40%. So still on the way down. So I don't know why all these other ones keep saying, oh, it's on the way up. No, it's on the way up. Oh, it looks like it's on the way down. So let's go see. Here's CNN. Now, CNN's ought to be up. Wait, I went too far. Shit. Let's see. Where is it at? Oh, no, this is the Globe and the Mail, the Daily Mail. So you know what this is going to be. He'll have like 80% approval rating here. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So let's see. So far, they're just not saying what it actually is. They're not actually putting approval rating out there. Biden, fortunately, seems to be able on rise and can maintain momentum to midterms. No, see, that's not even telling you what the approval rating is. That's how scared they're even supposed to put out. So they're going to post some bullshit that, you know, maybe somebody will believe. Up here we go, CNN. Oh, this is CNN saying Biden mourns Trump and his closest followers, trying to undermine America's democracy. Whatever, dude. You're such an idiot. The fact that you're in your office is an embarrassment. It really is. But yet CNN refuses to put up poll numbers, even though that's what they said this was. So that's just scary when they won't put up a poll number. This is a QEDU. This is another liberal crap. Let's see what they got to say. Quinnipiac. Let's see what Quinnipiac's got to say. Let's see. So 6 weeks after Biden scored lowest marks, President negative 40. So he's still at 40% on theirs. Job rating compared to the 60% approval rating he receives in July. So he's down to 31 on there. So Democrats, 83% to 10% approve of Biden, compared to 71 of 18% that approve of his. If this is true, liberals are bigger idiots than I thought they were.
Reuters puts him at 38%.
So Quinnipiac's going to put him firmly at 40%. So yeah, these are going down, not up. That's what I'm saying. You can't. The liberal media just cannot tell the truth for anything. Now Gallup says he's at 44%. I don't know when Gallup became such the liberal rag. Biden's rating rises to 44%. No, dude. We just got through telling you it went down since then. In a week, it's dropped 4 points. I mean, that's just sad in itself. How popular is Joe Biden? 35 to 8. I don't know how popular.
People are basically just mocking Biden about how angry and messed up he was, you know, and all the things he said. And it's just polarizing. It's going to, push people away even more. So
this is going to be a little roller coaster ride here, people. So hang on. So Rasmussen has him at 45%. IPSO has him at 38%. US Gov has him at 39%. Morning Consultant has him at 42%. The other Rasmussen has him at 41%. NBC, oh man, let's see. And the Bushes, both Bushes did good, man. Look at that shit. They beat out Clinton in there. Let's see. Yeah, he's hovering. If we balance it out, he's hovering right at 40%. So he was up to 44. Now he's back down to 40. By next week, he'll be back down even further. People just don't trust him. And even still now, with according to he's making progress, they still don't want him to run again. I mean, if he was doing so great, why don't they want him to run? That's always Biden,
They just want to maintain power. They don't care if he's in there or not. They the ones running the show want to maintain power so they can continue their evil plan.
Oh shit! Yeah, Reuters put their new poll up just now. It came out 2 days ago. They have him back at 58% disapprove, 38% approve.
I just said that.
Whew, man, that's Reuters too. You know, Reuters, big old liberal thing. But I think Reuters is changing too. I think they're going to do like CNN. I think they've seen too many Biden approval falls, holding near low end of his presidency. That's August 31st, 2022. So that was 2 days ago. So that's the most recent poll, and that puts him in the shithouse. I don't know what to tell y'all guys. I'm not voting for him. I didn't vote for him last time. I'm not voting for him this time. I don't like the guy. I don't trust the guy. I think if he stays in office too long, we'll end up in a world war. I think honestly, if you put Trump in, or if you put Santos in, I think Putin will quit and go home because he knows.
I think we're already in a world war. I mean, we're already supplying weapons that are killing Russians, and then also Chinese. I think we're there. It's a smoldering fire that's going to continue.
Yeah, but you got to remember how things are really. So Xi Jinping doesn't want to die from nuclear fire. He just doesn't. He's got family, he's got kids, he's got friends. He don't want to die from nuclear fire, and he don't want to live on a planet that's completely nuclear radiated, where he's got to drink pee and eat poop. That's not who he is. It's not who he wants.
The rest of us, it'd be good for him too.
And then on the other side, he doesn't want to be seen as the guy who brought down China, because starting it with Taiwan is going to bring down China. We're going to bankrupt.
Well, he's in a box, just like Putin's in a box, and then both of them are going to have to be. He's not in a box as much as Putin's in a box, but they're threatening and they're pushing. At some point, that threatening and pushing, people are going to push back. Same for Biden, same for everybody. That threatening and pushing, people can only take so much before they fight back. Don't these guys study history? Oh my God.
Yeah, but Taiwan probably won't push back unless unless China tries to invade, and then they're not going to push back alone. We're going to push back with them.
Well, they have the threatening flights and all the crap they're doing now, and all that. At some point, someone's going to bump into somebody, and that's going to be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, now we're sending long-range missiles to them, so that may even quit, because now Taiwan will have the advantage of reaching deep into China territory. And since China doesn't actually know if Taiwan has nukes or not, that's a dangerous game. So I think you're going to see either Xi Jinping has to jump on it now, or he has to get away from it, leave it alone, and move on. Because if he keeps messing around with it, he's going to lose face in his country. He's going to have to, and he can't invade. He knows it. First thing that's going to happen is everybody on the planet is going to sanction. I mean, he's bankrupt. No food, no money, no nothing. How do you fight a war without money? Even Russia's finding that one out. How do you fight a war without money? And how do you feed 1.4 billion people when you can't even get any grain? Russia's already cut off the grain from the Ukraine from them because he's over there fighting. We're going to cut them off. Europe's going to cut them off. Well, they're going to starve to death. And then Japan's going to do like they did last time, go over there and trade bowls of rice for guns. China's out of everybody there in the most precarious because their economy's already teetering on the brink. So, and they were already got in trouble for lying to the World Bank and shit. So I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do it. And I don't think he wants to get into a war. I just don't think he does. Xi Jinping just doesn't seem like he wants to die. And as it stands right now, well, you know what? Right now, I don't think he will die. I don't think the liberals would throw a nuke at somebody. I think conservatives might, but I don't think the liberals will. I think they'll say, no, let's not nuke the world. But we got to get out of here anyway. So, Mike, tell them where they can find you.
Every Thursday, Friday, 8 o'clock at night Eastern Time. You find me on Discovery Paranormal every Tuesday. And what did I say? Tuesday, Discovery Paranormal. Thursday, Red Pill News, 8 p.m. Friday, 10 to midnight, we got the Centralist.
Oh, Centralist. And remember, people, don't feel free that, it was kind of light on news tonight. I noticed all the networks were kind of in sync with their stories, with the exception of dropping Joe Biden. It was kind of weird. It was just kind of.
They want to ignore the truth.
Yeah. Why. And, nowadays, guys, if you want Ukrainian news, you actually got to go find something that says Ukrainian news, because they're not even hardly putting it in our news anymore. As far as NBC and ABC and them are concerned, Ukrainian war is just a thing. It's not even a big thing.
Right.
We can talk on this, Michael.
But check it out. They're,
white
in the Ukraine,
welcome to the white side of everything.
In the Ukraine, they're taking land back that the Russians took, and we're giving them better weapons, better missiles, better stuff. Slowly but surely, you know, they're gonna be able to tell. You know, the Russians are leaving. They're campaigning to put soldiers in. Putin's using old Soviet era tanks now. It's not looking well for Putin. But what's happened for sure that Russia has weakened themselves greatly. I mean, wow.
It showed that they're not the world power that everybody thought they might.
Exactly.
And so Russia's now its only real claim to fame is having nuclear weapons. And I think the world's going to start cracking down on that. So, you know, and if you never know, but one of those people who might be a pro-Ukrainian might detonate one on a base, and that'll be the end of that. The whole world will go in and say, okay, Russia, you got to give up your nukes, dude. It's just
well, when Russia, you know, when the whole Soviet thing happened and Ukraine broke apart from the Soviet Union, there was 200 warheads unaccounted for in the Ukraine.
Oh yeah, those suitcase nukes is what they called them.
They had 40 of those, but they had 200 nuclear warheads that went on missiles, you know, that went missing that nobody seemed to have found. So that's kind of interesting.
I think they said a couple went to India. And a couple went to Pakistan. I don't know what.
Well, we supplied India and Pakistan with nukes.
No, but so did they. Actually, they bought some black market ones because India got in trouble because they were developing a missile and it was just early Soviet era missiles. So they definitely had one. Pretty sure Pakistan had one. And then the United States intercepted like 22 of the suitcase nukes. I don't know if they intercepted any other ones, but they were buying them. They were out there pretending like they were, you know, crazy people looking to blow something up. And what bothers me is there is at least 18 still lost and no one's ever detonated any of them.
Yeah, not yet.
Maybe they can't be detonated. I mean, some of these, you know, there was a big thing that CIA was talking about for a long time is they thought a lot of Russia's nukes were ineffective and wouldn't detonate. They even said a lot of their rockets wouldn't get off the ground. There was a time Russia tested like 14 missiles before they got one off the ground. So
I'm sure they have some that work, but we know that they do lie. You know, so like everybody, right? All these governments lie. You can't trust not one person when they say something, and that's the worst part of it right there.
And it costs a lot of money just to maintain one nuke. People think, well, you're just sticking ground and leaving. No, you don't do that.
I want some good soul food, man. You're in the soul food capital right there.
They got a place down here called the Two Sisters, not up here, but where there is in New Orleans. And if you really like real soul food, they cook it. I mean, they cook everything from chitlins.
I've had the craving for stuff, man. I don't know. It just got me. You know what I mean? Love it.
They call it. But anyway.
You know what I want? I want some really good Southern fried chicken, like do the chicken and waffles, and I want some collard greens.
You know, I brought some good Southern chicken home yesterday. I stopped at Chaps, got me some really good fried peanut oil, really good deep Southern fried chicken. I picked up Linda some grilled catfish, and I picked up my stepdaughter some fried catfish. All of it was really well done. It's just a little restaurant in Old Metairie called Chaps. I got good food there. And it's not even expensive. I think it was $50 for all three meals, which sounds a lot, but in the old days, that would have been like $30. Not today, though. Under Biden, people, it is double the price.
Double, triple sometimes.
But we got to go, guys, because I got to get my butt getting some sleep pretty soon. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Centralist. Mike and I'll be here next week. I think Jay's coming back, and we still are looking for a female host. Ladies,
female.
Are we that scary?
Woman.
I'm starting to feel insulted. Anyway.
Well, we need someone to balance it out. You know, there's a lot of testosterone here, man. You know, so you need. We like a female voice. It's important to have diversity. God damn it.
That's right. And we do need a female voice. But on that note, good night and stay tuned for Spaced Out Radio.
See you guys. Wouldn't want to be.